What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Game Junction Podcast. We are here for episode 100. Holy cow. It's hard to believe, man. I it almost brings tears to my eyes. Episode 100. How you doing this week, Thunderstash Gaming? Yeah.
The beginning, I think I talked about it on the last podcast that we're getting into busy season for everything.
Yeah.
It's all coming together. This is that time of the year. Starts to cool down. Fall starts to make its way in,
Yep.
and then you got all the games coming out. You got the sports. Kids are back in school, and it's the sprint. It feels like to the finish line, right? To the end of the year. It feels like a sprint.
It
And
really does.
right. And the rest of the year, sometimes they're slower than others, but once we get into September, end of August, September, it just feels like a straight sprint. So yeah, super busy, a lot of fun stuff. And again, congratulations on 100 episodes. It's what I see a lot is podcasts don't last that long. People usually crap out a lot earlier. Maybe
Yeah.
it doesn't take off. So they say, you know what? I'm not going to do it because nobody can find my podcast or nobody watches it or this or that.
Yeah.
There's a million excuses in the book that everyone can use, and not to say that none of them are valid, but the thing is persistence. You got to stick with it, and your persistence has now paid off. You're at 100 episodes, so congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean that is the truth. I've spoke about it on the podcast many times. There are going to be times where it feels like, who am I doing this for? Nobody's watching this. Nobody's listening to this.
Yeah.
The thing is that you just have to keep doing it. You find that strive, like we started collecting, a lot of audio listeners, and like you just never know what's going to happen. You try different platforms, you try different techniques with the podcasting, different formats, because like we do news stuff, but also like we like to do topical stuff. And there are podcasts where they have one question for the whole podcast and they answered that one question, and that's the podcast. And so like there's so many ways that you can do podcasting. And obviously there's the podcasting in person, which I've also have a podcast that's on hiatus that I've done that with, and it's fun. It's fun to podcast a person. It's also fun to podcast to people all over the world, And I think it's one of those things where it's just like consistency, man. Consistency. You got to keep up with it. You got to be doing it. If you have a scheduled time that you're doing it, you got to do it that scheduled time. No excuses. I mean, not saying I'm anything, but like I've had COVID 4 times on this podcast and made it through when I felt deathly sick. And you got to do what you got to do to make things work. And it is a lot of I hate to say it that way, but there is a lot of excuses that people use for why their thing isn't working, or why don't people watch my videos, or why is nobody watching this podcast? Well, nobody has to watch your podcast. You need to give them a reason to watch your podcast. You need to give them a reason to be entertained, or to laugh, or to feel emotional, or whatever, or nostalgic, or whatever it might be. You got to give them that reason. They don't have to do anything. There's
100%.
That's just the truth. And you just got to keep doing it, man. No matter what issues come about, there might be problems that come about through whatever you're doing. You never know. Like real life things happen, and it will impact your content or whatever, but you still gotta ride through it, man. You just gotta do it. So that's it's kind of
Amen.
how I feel about that. But yeah, so we've been we're gonna get just gonna be all over the place on this podcast. This is gonna be a little bit different than when you've been on before. So we are gonna cover the news, obviously. But I do want to go ahead and just bring up first, because we've been doing it 2 days in a row, and we're doing it again as of this recording tomorrow. IndieMania. So I want to go ahead and just out front talk about that. And what's your thoughts been with IndieMania this year?
Well, it's its first year, and I would say that you can't really tell that it's the first year because it's been a really polished performance by Mike Odyssey and Paul Gale Network. They've done a great job. And, this has been Mike Odyssey's baby for like 3 years. He's been working on this. This is something that he's wanted to do. And he had some hurdles he told me about along the way. And again, he had scenarios where like things came up where a lot of people would have probably said, okay, I'm going to walk away. Maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to do. Maybe this is a sign that I'm not supposed to do this, but he didn't take it that way. He just continued to push forward and break some walls down. And so I'm very proud of them. I got a lot of respect for them in that manner. They did a great job. Now, more importantly, or the things that you guys are probably excited about, that's a little bit of the backstory. So you got some really good dudes behind it, but
yes,
a lot of great games being shown for the first time, and they're all indie games. So the smaller developers, not the companies pushing out the huge AAA games with microtransactions at every corner and battle passes and all this stuff. It's the smaller studios, and we've seen some really, really interesting stuff. There is a game that I just can't get out of my head that we saw yesterday called Rough.
Yes.
And the Riverside. When I say rough, it's spelled like a dog barking, rough, RUFF. Rough on the Riverside. And I swear to you, it looks like a Banjo-Kazooie kind of game, right?
Love it. Yeah, I love that style of game. I had the same vibes, and it's stuck in my head as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
Yeah, so the gameplay looks like great, right? But I think the other thing that really sticks with you is it's not just the unique art style, but also the animation of the characters, like the way they move. It gives me almost like stop motion vibe.
Yeah.
But modern day.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
It's not like something I've seen before. And when you're like Brandon and I in chat, when you're like, I'm sure you've seen so many video games throughout the years, and when you see something different, it's a rare thing.
Yep.
And if it's different in a good way, it's gonna stick with you. So you're like, okay, I gotta have this game on my radar because it's rare to be following video games for 35 years and to see something that looks different in a really good way. So that was exciting. There was a handful of really cool games, though. I mean, at least 10 to 15 games that I would be really interested in playing so far, and we still got another day.
Yeah, so I had, and of course I have it over there. I actually had a list of some of the games that looked interesting to me. And it was a lot of them. There was a lot of them that looked super interesting and like very intriguing, and also just like they felt like video games. Just watching them, it felt like video games.
Yeah,
not these I'm not hating on all AAA games or anything like that, but we know how this industry is right now. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like fun video games that we had back in the day. It can be, these indie games can, look perfect and look like a modern day game and still be better than like a AAA game because it feels more like a video game. It just does. Like, that's the thing about indie developers, is that most of them love video games. That's why they're in it. So that's
They
what,
do.
you know?
I think a big thing of it is that they don't have suits telling them how to make a game and what needs to be included in said game to, appease all the people in the world and to make sure everyone feels okay playing this game. And we need to include this now and then this, and before you know it, the foundation that was initially laid with the idea for this game has went and transformed into something entirely different because too many people in the boardroom are trying to tell the people who actually make the games what they need to do to make this game.
Yes.
And we've seen this in corporate. Anyone who's worked in corporate America, how many times have you had corporate visit and they have no clue how to do your job? They have zero clue whatsoever. And for a fact that if you got up and left right now, they could not sit in your chair or stand up and do your job. They would have no clue. Yet they want to critique, possibly. And I worked in corporate for almost 20 years. I was the complete opposite of that because I worked every position.
Right.
I got promoted to every single position. I worked 11 positions at the mortgage company.
Wow.
And so so I saw everything. I did everything. And I could train everyone on everything. But a lot of the people that I did work with, like other people in corporate management, they had no clue, man. They had no clue, but they want to run their mouths and say this and that about people. It's like, yeah, well, have you tried doing it? It's not easy. It's not an easy job, man. And so I know the same thing happens in video games, guys. I know it for a fact. And it's sad.
It is.
But thankfully, we have indies, and we need them. We really need them because without them, I think the gaming industry doesn't grow as much as it has. And I think
agree.
it would become stale.
I agree. Yep.
Yeah, so it's very key. And so I'm a big believer in indie games. I know you are. And I think it's probably for a lot of the same reasons. Not only that, but I mean, I enjoyed the indie games. I think that's a given, though. But they're very important.
Yeah.
We need them. We really do. And especially nowadays. Because AAA developers are dropping the ball left and right.
They really are. I mean, they tarnished the thing that I love. That's how I feel. I mean, they have truly tarnished one of my many passions, but one that I'm very passionate about. It just feels like this is how it feels to me. It feels like they've thrown gamers in the trash can, and now it's just dollar signs that they're looking at. They're not looking at people anymore. And we know that obviously all these companies need to make money, right, to survive. But it feels like they don't target gamers anymore. They're just targeting making money. Like, that's all it is. It just feels like they're microtransactions, even though a game is $70 with, stuff that it just feels like, obviously we went through all the sort of loot box gambling stuff that was going on for a long time.
Yeah.
It still is going on.
It's a lot of trickery and it's a lot of psychology that they're using.
It is.
And I've read up on it. I've watched videos on what they do. I've looked at some of their trainings. And it's disgusting. And they take advantage. They take advantage of a lot of people. And on the other side of the coin, though, people got to wise up too.
They do.
Vote with your wallet. If you don't want to see this anymore, then don't give them your money, and things will change. But they know they can take advantage, and they do. And you could say a lot of businesses do that. A lot of these big corporations, and that's a lot of what we have nowadays. The brick and mortar it's going to the wayside in the same way physical is, in the same way that back in the day, you go to the mall on a Friday Friday night, a Saturday, and everybody's there. Now we don't even have malls. You know what I'm saying? Like things
Yep.
have changed,
Yep.
and I miss those days. But a lot of things have changed when it comes to like video games. I feel like that was the last thing to get infiltrated, because I saw TV get infiltrated with government and politics and everything else. I saw Hollywood with the movies.
Yep.
So I saw TV go way downhill, and it all started with the reality TV horseshit, because that's not real. Obviously, they tried
Jersey
to act
Shore.
like it was. Yeah, it all started with reality TV, and you know, the moral decline of society through TV. Then it was Hollywood with the movies. Not only that, but just the constant remakes, no new ideas or anything like that. Music took a huge hit. Like, I stopped listening to new music decades ago. Obviously, I listen to video game music when I play games, but I listen to the oldies stations, 60s, 70s, 80s, some 90s. But really, after that, there's not a lot of great stuff, in my opinion, from the things I've heard. So I tuned out of that.
Yeah.
And then, sadly, sports has been infiltrated now with politics and everything else that none of us want. And I thought, you know, I still got that one place, right? That one safe house, the safe haven video games, right? Like, it'll never come here, right? And then sure enough, things are changing there too. But thankfully, we all have probably a massive backlog.
Yeah.
So if they need, like you said, if everything needs to burn down so it can be rebuilt, right? I think we'd have enough games to hold us over.
Yeah.
Well, it's burning down, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, and I say that, and I truly do mean that. I think it needs a reset. I think there needs to be a reset. I mean, like, we're never going to have the video game crash, like the actual video game crash. It's never going to happen, but it really needs to have like a at least a soft reset, or these companies, they hold back and they talk in their board meetings like, okay, hey, we're doing this wrong. Let's get some young guys in there that are gamers, right? Like people that are into entertainment, and like, hey, we want to satisfy these people, and we want them to continue to buy from our company and continue to trust our company with our video games. And we don't want to throw politics into every video game, because that's the other problem, right? Like, and I'm like down the middle. I hate politics to begin with, and I just don't like all the crap. I don't like all the crap being thrown in, though. I don't need stuff shoved in my face. I don't think you need stuff thrown here, there. It's unneeded. That's just the truth.
There's no need for it. And Brandon, you know what it was like growing up.
Yeah.
How many friends did you have where you knew what their politics were?
We didn't talk about politics.
We didn't talk about it. Yeah, we didn't talk about it.
Never.
None of us did. We don't care.
Yeah.
None of us talked about it, and that you could thank the mainstream media. For the division, and that was a planned attack.
Yes, it was.
That was a psyop on everyone in this country and other countries too. They're going through the same stuff, and so much has changed and fallen to the wayside. And politics is the last thing we need. It's the last thing we want. Politics, again, like you said, you don't like politics at all, and neither do I. And it seems these days that everyone wants to be defined by politics.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, man, we're all better than that as human beings. I hope to God that we're all better than that, and that you can't truly say that I can easily be defined by either this side or that side, and that's who I am. Like, come on, man. You don't have to pick a side.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? People think they have to be on a team. They have to. You don't have to be on a team for everything, right? Like, and it's as silly as video games too, with the console wars, like, right? Like it had to be on a team.
a majority participates in the console wars.
Now, look, the console wars in the
Sadly.
90s were cool and fun, right? The Genesis and
They were fun because they weren't as serious. Like
right.
today is like bonkers
Yeah,
with
yeah. Like these people need to grow up. You got like 40-year-old men arguing the Xbox is better than, I don't play Nintendo Switch because that's for kids. I literally see that stuff all the time, and I'm thinking, you're the one that needs to grow up there because that's a little absurd to me.
Trust me, Bill Gates does not care about you.
Nope, certainly does not.
He, if anything, he would like it if you weren't here.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's
without
the truth.
getting into that too much, but that's the truth. So why do you defend these billion-dollar corporations, right? Like they're your best friend, like they're your ride or die. It's like, come on, dude, are you for real?
Yeah.
They don't care about you.
Nope, not one bit. Not one bit.
Yeah, it's just wild. But hey, that's where we're at. That's where we're at.
It's unfortunate.
It is.
It's truly unfortunate, but yeah. So getting a little sidetracked, which is perfectly fine. But IndieMania just kind of topped that off. It's been great. And if you're watching live now, obviously for audio listeners, it will have already ended. But we are streaming again tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard, which that's 9 for you, right?
Yes,
9 for you. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting the time zones down. I feel like an idiot. I'm 30 and I'm getting the time zones down. But yeah, I mean, IndieMania has been really cool. So I've had a blast with that, and it's been fun. So, and I guess to go ahead and get into some news, we'll break up the show with some news and then some of the other things that we want to do to kind of celebrate the 100th episode. But to get into some small news. We got Tony Hawk teased a anniversary plan for the series. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
But yeah, that sounds pretty cool if it's not like Pro Skater 5.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering what it's going to be because obviously we got the Tony Hawk 1+2.
Yeah.
That came out on last gen, and then they had the PS5 boost for it.
Yeah.
Which you could upgrade for $10, and I did check that out, see how it looked, and I thought it looked great.
Yeah, it looks good.
Are we going the remake route? Are we getting 3 and 4? Are we going the underground route? Or are we going with the new numbered entry? So that's the question. Where are we going with this?
I would love a new numbered entry, honestly. I really would. I think I loved the Pro Skater 1 and 2. I thought it was done very well. Especially with that next gen boost, and it really did well with those games. I do wonder though, like, what about the underground games? Are we going to get like an underground 1 and 2 type deal like we did with that, or are we? I would like to get a new game, but I also wouldn't mind them doing underground 1 and 2 because I thought those were good games too. That actually people don't talk about that much.
No, they don't.
But I enjoyed them a lot. I mean, I really there was some weird ones like like Skate Land was weird, and then Downhill Jam was weird.
Yeah.
There's, do you remember Tony Hawk Ride?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I remember that.
That was a weird one. So yeah, it's hard to say where they're going to go with that, but there were hints apparently, or talks of a 3+4. So that could be the thing there. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I don't know.
I mean,
3+4 to me, it's not as exciting, but
it's not. I don't think it will sell as well. I really don't. But Tony Hawk's still the king of skateboarding. He always will be, especially in the video game space. What else do we have? Skate. That's it.
Yeah,
right?
Skate. Yeah.
So,
yep.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have the king on console.
I agree. Yeah. So I guess we'll see what happens there, but that is interesting news for sure. So we've also got I briefly brought this up to you yesterday,
Yeah,
and Flappy Bird is back. So
it's very interesting.
it's very interesting. It's back, but it's not the same Flappy Bird. It's definitely not the same game. I checked it out. It's not the same game, but it's back. So it's apparently the company is called the Flappy Bird Foundation. That's literally the company's name.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They somehow got the rights to Flappy Bird or something is what I'm guessing. I don't know the backstory there, but it says 𝐂𝐞, the developer of 𝐓𝐴, was involved and commented, "Today is a milestone, not just in gaming, but for me personally. It's so cool to see how influential 𝐓𝐴 has been for developers and hundreds of millions of gamers over the years. It's incredible to work alongside such a dedicated team of fans and creators who are truly passionate about changing the industry narrative and together bringing the original Flappy Bird back to life." I mean, it's not the original Flappy Bird, though. It's obviously like Flappy Bird, but Flappy Bird was just you touch the screen game and you got through the pipes. So it sounds like they're trying to do like an Angry Birds type thing to me, where they're making it like more than what it kind of is, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I didn't play Flappy Bird. Like I didn't own it on my phone. And I guess when I say own it, you never really own it.
Yeah.
And in this case, you really didn't, right? Because the game
Right.
was removed. But I looked into the story of this earlier this week. And in case everyone doesn't know, maybe there's some old people like me who just never saw this news. But originally, Flappy Bird, the creator designed the game as a simple pastime, he says. But its addictive nature led to a flood of obsessive players. And it stated that many users expressed frustration with the game's difficulty, and some even reported that it negatively affected their daily lives. This is as of 10 hours ago. I Googled why was Flappy Bird discontinued. And so the creator had it removed because from what I had read, he had so much stress
Wow.
from hearing that his creation negatively affected people's lives. And so he's like, just remove it. I don't want to deal with this. And I think people were contacting him directly.
Wow.
Which is just wild. Like, dude, for real.
That's crazy. I did not know that part. That's
Oh, you didn't? Yeah. So I did not either.
Wow.
Very weird. Very weird. Again, society is just, sometimes they just floor me with some of the stuff like, hey, this is a game. Like, this isn't hard drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Delete the game, move on with your life, find something else to do. The fact that people basically said it made them probably angry and depressed, and that you went after the creator is just.
I mean, how is it his fault that you're obsessed with the game? Like, it was a simple. It was there's no simpler game in the world. I can't think of anything even Pac-Man is more intensive than what you do with Flappy Bird. You literally just touch the screen.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of strategy in Pac-Man.
Yeah, I mean, like I can't think of anything. I don't know. That's absurd to me. That's crazy to know. Mr. Coffee said, "I thought it was a cheap one-time play game. I never was impressed by it. I mean, I was the same way. I just played it like once or twice, and it was because it was on, I think, my friend's iPhone Touch or something. Because I didn't have an iPhone Touch or an Am I saying that right? Not iPhone, iPod Touch. Sorry, iPod.
Yeah,
Touch.
iPod Touch. Yeah.
Yeah, I had it on there, so I didn't know, but I do know that there was a time where if you had that game still saved on that iPod Touch, it was selling for like a lot of money.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
I guess that would make sense.
You kept the game. You didn't lose the game. It was just delisted.
So I was going to ask you. So that means they didn't remove the game like Sony removed Concord
yesterday
from everyone's PlayStations.
Yeah, so we can kind of move into that because that's some interesting stuff there. This is why we support physical games, and this is why we don't like live service games. Yeah, what's your thoughts on this? Because I mean, I could go on and on and on about how much I just am not for live service games at this point because there's too daggone many of them.
Well, yeah, live service games as a whole, I'm not interested in it. I don't think a lot of gamers are interested in the live service games. I think when Sony said that they were going to be working on, I think, what was it, 10 live service games? Yep. Everyone's like, what? Wait, you're going from 0 to 10?
Yeah.
Like, are you sure? This is what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because you guys are known as a powerhouse for single player, rich games that really engross you. The single player story. And then now you want to do this. And it just came across so clear that they were chasing dollars like everybody else that's trying to do the live service game. And so I think and I think the chat knows, because we've talked about it before on this podcast, but not a fan.
Yeah.
What is interesting to me, I guess the best word is alarming to me, is that everyone who downloaded this game, and let's say this too. So Sony gave a refund to everybody that downloaded the game.
Yeah.
And they said if you bought it from the PlayStation Store physically, you can return it to us.
Yeah.
It said also that if you bought it physically from somewhere else, from other, retailers, that you're subject to their return policy.
Yeah.
We all know what other places' return policies are. If you open the game, you can't return it. It's been like that since the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And so get this. So if I bought Concord and I installed it, right? And now I have the game, and now I can't play it. And not only that, but Sony removed it completely, and I have this open disc, and I can't return it anywhere. What? I mean, is that terms for a lawsuit or something?
I feel like there has to be something that comes out of this, because this is like, this is a pretty big deal. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people that cannot return the game because they opened it to play it.
Here's part of the problem, though. Like, the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Is that the good and the bad is that not a lot of people bought the game.
Right.
And very, very few people bought it physically.
Yeah.
So it didn't affect a lot of people, but its effect is felt throughout gaming, I think. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Because it's like, this is concerning, because we're already seeing stuff like this. I was on the Communication Era podcast on Monday, and we're talking about physical and digital. That was our lone topic. And obviously I'm for physical, but I brought up all the pros and cons for both. And one of the big things is with digital games, the stuff being removed, or the games being removed entirely, right?
Right.
And there's even games, like when you talk about like game preservation, there's games where you can't even access DLC from that was released years ago.
Yep.
So you got this game that's incomplete now because the DLC was removed, because it had, some sort of licensing in there from something else.
Right.
It had an ad for Taco Bell. If we're talking like Crazy Taxi on Dreamcast, right?
There was
music in it.
There was recently that racing game that got delisted because of the cars in it. The title is escaping me, but it just recently got delisted, like a few weeks ago. But it was a racing game, and it had specific car models in it, and so it's gone forever.
I think the concerning thing is that the frequency of delisted games is increasing, and it's not decreasing.
Yes.
And so we talked about it, and obviously, like, we're never going to see Zelda get delisted. never gonna see Mario. We're not gonna see The Last of Us. It's not gonna be big name games, right? But the concern, and you know, a lot of people are upset about this. But the question was, you know, does it really affect them because it's not a game they play? Well, I think these decisions are felt throughout the industry because it scares people. It makes them think, wow, if they can do this, what else can they do? You know, if this company is going to do it, why wouldn't that company do it?
Right.
If a big name company did it, like Warner Brothers or something, then it feels like it gives the smaller companies a license to do it now. License to get away with it. So it's the concern that is so concerning here, is that they're able to get away with it and there's no repercussions. And, you know, for the few people who bought Concord physically, that sucks.
Yeah, it does. I mean, from the beginning, like from the get-go of seeing the game, I was already uninterested. The very first preview we got of the game, it felt generic, and we're all we saw were cinematics. Do you remember, like, the first time they showed it was just straight up cinematic?
I showed it to my girlfriend. I said, hey, check this out. I'm like, this is the next big live service game that's going to flop. I said, this is the next Suicide Squad watch.
And
I said, we'll reconvene in a year.
Yeah. I mean, I was from the get-go, I was uninterested because all they showed was boring cinematics, and we knew what type of game it was going to be. And Overwatch was popular in 2015. Okay, it's not popular anymore. So, like, that style of game, you know, of course, people play Overwatch too, but it's not popular like it was. It's not, you know, a Fortnite, or what these companies want to be is a Fortnite, right? That's what they're all trying to achieve. They all want to be a Fortnite, the next Fortnite.
Yeah.
Because that, I mean, whether you play Fortnite or not, or like it, you know, a lot of people that watch hate Fortnite, and I understand, you know, I get it. But that is now a brand that is around to stay and going nowhere. It is a live service type of game that it's going to be around for a long time, and some format or another. I can foresee a Fortnite movie. I can foresee a Fortnite cartoon series. I can foresee, you know, everything. It's already got toys. It's got plushies. It's got, you know, I can foresee Fortnite in so many mediums. It's not even funny. But that's what these companies want, is the next Fortnite. They want to be Fortnite or Warzone, one of the two, right? And
but they're all going at it the wrong way.
They are. I agree. Yeah.
Like when you try and create something, and the most important thing is to make money, you will actually do the worst at making money. And I talked about, I'll give you a little analogy. So both businesses I worked in, restaurant business and mortgage. I actually pretty much told my employees the same thing because this is how I worked and I believed in it. We'll just say mortgage business. So if every day the most important thing to you is how much money you're going to be able to make, and all you think about is money, you're not going to do good at this job. If that's your main motivation, you're not going to do good.
That's a great way. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Now, alternatively, if you truly care about helping the borrowers, helping customers, call them borrowers, change their lives, refinance their house, pay off their debt, get that monkey off their back permanently so they don't have to deal with this, so they have a lower monthly payment, so they can take some money, put it into savings, possibly be able to, you know, go out to Blockbuster Video and afford to rent a few movies, you know, maybe be able to get some more groceries, the important things, really, right?
Yeah.
These things can really change people's lives by lowering their monthly payment, consolidating debt with a home refi. So if you really care about your borrowers, and we talk to them all the time on the phone, all the time. They called all the time. They all had
Yeah.
our numbers. They can call us anytime. But if you actually care about these people on the other end, genuinely,
Yeah.
and you genuinely do your job like that, the money is going to follow you. You're not going to be following the money. The money is going to pour in like you wouldn't believe, because you're doing it the right way, and it has to be in that order. You have to do the right thing, and when you do, you'll get the money. Same thing with restaurant biz. Take care of the guests that come in. Do the right thing. If you don't get a good tip, that's okay. Carry on.
Yeah.
Treat everyone right. Treat everyone the way you want to be treated, and eventually things will come around if you have the right attitude, and you'll make a lot of money and you'll move up. This is the same thing though, guys. Like if all you care about is making money, you're not going to make money. And we see this all the time, right? All these companies, Suicide Squad. It was so clear the first time we saw with this battle pass crap.
Yep. From
And
the beginning.
And the fact that this isn't an Arkham game. Because that's what we all wanted. We all love the Arkham games. Everybody does.
Yep.
And now we haven't had one in 10 years.
It's crazy. We got a VR one coming, but you know.
Yeah, but you got to have Quest 3.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that in a little bit.
At this point, I got a Quest 2. I got a PSVR 2. I'm not going to buy a Quest 3 for it.
Yeah. I've never had a Quest, but I do want to get a Quest 3. I'm glad I waited, because we're going to talk about in a little bit why.
All right.
I do have interest in it because I do like the fact that it's wireless. You know, there's a good bit of things I want to play on it that you can't play on PSVR 2. I hate being tethered on PSVR 2. Sometimes it feels like just a drag. Pulling it down, and I got the PC adapter now. I still haven't done anything with it. I haven't tried it yet. I need to.
Yeah.
But you lose a bunch of the capabilities doing that too that make it special, you know.
Yeah.
But I am interested in checking out Quest. I just VR, like the VR experiences I've had with the PSVR 2 have been pretty good, but nothing like mind blowing. It just doesn't. I don't know, it hasn't captured me in that way yet. I feel like there's been some great games. Don't get me wrong, played some cool stuff, but a lot of it just feel like cool experiences and not really like games, if that makes sense.
Yeah, to me, VR still hasn't figured a way out to be a deep video game experience. Like actual video game.
Yes.
Like this is more like you said, an experience.
Yeah.
But not it doesn't feel like a true gaming experience. There's a difference. We all know it. You feel it.
Yeah, and what's crazy is you said, you know, you're not going to get a Quest 3 for Batman. Well, this is the first game that I am aware of where it is like a game. Like this is a full game. So that I am interested in it.
I have a way. I think you have a way to play it too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You have a way to play it on your PC with the PSVR 2.
Oh, okay. Well.
Yeah, there's a way. You'll be able to Google it. It's not too hard.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll have to look that up then. But yeah, it's like the first like full. I'm sure there's something out there that I'm not aware of, but it's a full game, like a legitimate game.
I'm following it. I'm following it.
Yeah, I'm excited about it because I love Arkham. I love Batman. I
love them.
I love all of it. So it hits all the things that I love there. And I think VR is cool, and that looks like it is going to look pretty cool in VR. Like it looks like it looks probably pretty stunning.
VR is cool. I'm rooting for VR.
I am too.
I'm not holding my breath, but I'm rooting hard for them.
Yeah, I want it to be successful, and it's just going to continue to grow. I mean, that's what it is. Like Meta obviously has it in the palm of their hands, legitimately. Like there are other than just because of this podcast, like I don't know anybody else out there that has a PSVR 2. Only like people in this community that I talked to on the podcast, things like that. Most people even on the podcast want nothing to do with it. So there's been a couple of people. You're one of like a few people I know that have one. So if that, says something there, but I know people that have multiple Meta Quests in their house because they've got several kids. And, I know a guy that has 3 of them. He got 3 kids and he also plays. So he's got 2 of them for the kids. And then, so. Yep. Johnny popped in here and said, "Hey guys, what's going on?" Mr. Coffee said,
man?
"Why we haven't gotten a corridor RPG for VR baffles me." That's a great question. I would love to have that style of RPG in VR. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I saw that comment and I was mentally shaking my head like, yeah, for real, why haven't we got that? It just seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does. Man, could you imagine there is a Doom. I have it actually, but I don't have the PSVR 1, so I can't play it. But that Doom, I think it's Doom 3 that has VR. Have you played that?
Yeah.
I don't have the PSVR 1, so I haven't been able to play it, but is it cool?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I played it. I played some cool stuff. I played some really weird stuff too.
Yeah, the only thing I played, and I played through the whole thing, was Astro's it's Astro's Playroom, right? Or was it Rescue Mission that was one on PSVR?
Rescue Mission.
Yeah, that's the one.
Something like that.
I played through all that. I was amazed at that game. That beautiful game. Gosh, man, Astrobot is like Mario and Sonic to me at this point. Like, I love Astrobot.
I do too, and I think there's a problem with it though.
What's the problem?
And it's unfortunate. It's the fact that you like it and I like it, but not everybody likes it. And
really,
yeah,
I haven't heard a single person say anything negative yet.
Dude, the sales is what I'm talking about.
Oh, really?
Abysmal.
Wow.
Week 1 sales in Japan. They sold about a little over 12,000. Week 1.
Oh my god. I didn't know that they were bad. I thought,
get this.
Oh man.
Get this. So for comparison, Brandon and chat, for comparison, when Mario Odyssey came out,
yeah,
it sold about, I think in the first week, 450 or 500,000 in Japan. Now here's the key part, is that when it came out, the Switch install base at the time was a fraction compared to the PS5's install base right now. Because remember, it came out early.
Yeah.
So to have that many sales in Japan with a low install base versus PS5's install base at the time Astrobot's releasing. So it's like, it's even worse, is what I'm saying, than it looks.
That is...
Not only is 12,000 just horrible, but it's like, man, this is sad, because I figured if one region was going to really support Astrobot, it would be Japan. Because I feel like a lot of the gamers out there are real gamers. Old school video gamers. It's in their blood, right? And they would appreciate a game like this.
Yeah.
Is what I thought. And I presume that the Western society would not treat it as such. They'd look at it as a kiddie game or a Nintendo game basically on PlayStation, which is what I hear a lot on Twitter. No, it's like, despite the 94 Metacritic score, kids, I say kids, but teenagers, young adults, even adults, they don't want to like almost be caught playing this game because it's a kid's game and I gotta look cool. It's like, dude, what? This is wild. You guys are missing, like, so many PlayStation fans are gonna miss out on this.
See,
it's sad.
You have got a complete different feed than I have, especially on Twitter, because I haven't seen it. I can't think of anything. I'm trying to think of one negative thing I've seen about it. and I can't think of anything. Especially on Twitter. I mean, that's where I catch most of the news and people's reactions and stuff.
Well, the reviewers like it.
I mean, it's just in general, just general people, like people like us, like
Yeah.
smaller YouTubers like us talking about stuff. I've seen, good things from them. I haven't seen anything from I guess I haven't I try to not read as many comments these days. When it comes to, that stuff, I try to avoid it. Just it becomes a time waster, but I
Yep.
imagine probably in some of the comments there's probably more stuff being said. I do read some of it. I just try to avoid it if I can, but that's truly that's kind of heartbreaking, man. I'm looking it up on uh Twitter now just to kind of see live reaction on what the last things were, said about it, and it looks like yeah, I mean, it's just good stuff. I don't see anything negative. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that sucks. That really sucks. I love that.
Well, it's not to say that there is anything negative.
No, I mean, it's there. It's there.
Like
It's there for everything.
yeah, it's just no one's buying. People aren't buying it. And like
That's
to me, this is one of the most hype games of the year.
Yeah. It was for me
So,
too. Yeah. Me as well. I mean, I
yeah,
and that's because I think for us, we really like these old school 3D platformers and 2D platformers, but these old
yeah,
school just platformers that are fun, that are usually family friendly, just anybody
yeah,
can play it. Like, thinking Spyro and Crash, and thinking uh Croc and Banjo Kazooie, and all that stuff, right? Like
yeah.
all of that just brings back great memories. It's stuff that I can still play now and still enjoy. Um, it was a different time with games. Like, we still get them. It's usually indie now. We
It
don't
is.
really get the big stuff besides Nintendo. We don't get the big stuff anymore from other people. I mean, Croc's coming back, so that's a good thing.
Yeah,
I'm pretty excited about that because I love Croc. Like, notoriously love
Gex is
Croc.
coming back too.
Dude, I love Gex as well. I mean,
Yeah,
I love Gex. So I didn't. Did I? Did we cover? We must have covered that. I think we did. I think I remember that it was coming back. There's
yeah,
so much news, man. That it's just you can't keep up with everything. But yeah, that's outstanding. That's coming back. I was shocked when I saw that Croc was coming back though, because that was one where I didn't really know anybody else that knew anything about Croc. I played it on PC. Um, I had on PC disc back in the day of it. I played it
yeah,
over and over and over. And going back to it, the controls are atrocious, horrible. They're the Tomb Raider style controls.
yeah.
So, you've got to turn them, and then
Tank
yeah,
controls.
tank controls, yeah. So but man, I loved it back in the day, man. And Gex, love Gex on 64, so much fun. A lot of good memories with those. So all right, so zooming through a little bit more of this small news so we can get to some of our other stuff. We've got Ubisoft is adding offline modes to the Crew 2 and the Crew Motorfest, but the original is gone for good. So kind of adding on a little to what we talked about, but also they're making offline modes for some of them. Kind of
Yeah,
weird.
yeah. It is kind of weird. There's a win. There's a win and a loss.
Yeah.
They use the old sandwich method there. Hey, we're taking this away. We're gonna give you this.
Yeah.
The good and the bad. So, yeah, great that there's offline mode though.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know people love the Crew. Like, I know people absolutely love it. I've never played it, so I don't know much about it, but I get the concept of the games. It sucks. I wonder why they're removing the first one and just not adding an offline mode to all of them. I wonder if maybe it's like they think it's too similar to the Crew 2, or
I'm guessing it has to do with something that's licensed in
like,
there, and
yeah,
it's not worth it. Not worth it to pay to renew the license, so they'll get rid of this one.
Not worth it to them, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably it. So there's that. We've also got just a second. Okay, had something going off there. Oh, it looks like something going on with the TikTok, so I'll zoom into that. What looks like we got
We got the layoffs, man, the Xbox layoffs.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into that. Sorry, I'm trying to deal with this.
And we can talk about both layoffs there. So yeah, Xbox woke up, saw that on Twitter, 650, if I recall, employees laid off. And it just seems like, I don't know, all throughout the year, over the last 12 months, I keep seeing more and more and more of it, of Xbox layoffs.
Yeah.
Xbox layoffs. And it's like, there's going to come a point where everyone's laid off. And they go completely software, completely Game Pass. It's just a matter of when. I really truly believe that. I think the one that really caught me off guard though was Annapurna Interactive.
Yeah. That is wild.
I did not expect to wake up. I think it was the day after the Xbox layoffs. Or no, I think it was the same day. It was later in the day.
It was the same day, yeah.
Yeah. I did not expect that. Obviously, no one did, but all 25 developers left.
Yeah.
They have no talent there. They all left. The whole studio left. And that's that.
Absolutely insane. I mean, just crazy. I don't even know where to start with that.
Well, they're one of the most successful indie developers. And so it's a big hit to the industry. And from what I read, they were trying to work on a split and they couldn't come to terms. The developers wanted to split off and have their own company, and they just couldn't figure it out. And then I saw one of the developers on Twitter tweet out that hey, it's not over. We're gonna get what is ours. I'm like, okay, this looks like it's gonna get a little hot and heavy, and it's never a good look. It's sad. It's unfortunate because they made some really great games.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about this because I mean it's just crazy, really. I mean it's just crazy. This is kind of unheard of happening. Everybody just leaving. I still don't quite understand everything, I guess. I just don't know. It kind of sucks. You shared that image which yesterday, which I thought was funny. I had to I had to retweet that. That was hilarious. Is that going to have value? Yeah, probably. Yeah, so I mean, what do you think is going to happen? Like what's the end goal here? What's going to happen?
Well, I mean, the company is gutted.
Yeah.
All that's left is the suits. And again, the suits don't know how to sit in the chair and do the job. You know what I mean? They will be a shell of themselves.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if they closed down, but
I wouldn't be surprised either, honestly. I mean, with all the problems right now, I wouldn't.
They have their IP. Someone might swoop them up. Someone might try and buy them. So yeah, look at that too. But I'm on their website, just kind of looking at some of their games here. I'm just like, man, this is just wild.
I mean, they put out such good stuff, man.
Yeah, it's not like they weren't working on anything. They have games they're working on right now, and Stray was fun. That was a good game.
I love Stray.
It was free on PlayStation Plus, so I played it. Really enjoyed it. Solar Ash, that was a good one.
Yep, that's a good one too that I've never
Um,
heard anybody else talk about.
oh yeah, it's cool. The Pathless, that's a good
Yep,
one.
yep. I actually have 2 different versions of that game. Weirdly
Oh,
enough.
nice. Kentucky Route Zero TV edition, great game.
Good game. Very good game. That's again
Uh,
another game that I've never heard anybody else talk about.
yeah, that's funny. Journey.
Yes.
Who hasn't played Journey?
Journey is a masterpiece of a game. Everybody should play that.
Masterpiece Theater. I love Journey. That was a good
Yeah.
one. Outer Wilds.
Very good. I enjoyed it.
The Archaeologist edition is coming out in like a month.
Oh, I didn't even know about
The
that.
physical edition, and so who knows what's going to go on with that. What Remains of Edith Finch? Great game.
That's a good game too. Yep.
There's so many good games, and I named maybe 20% of their works right there. So there's a lot of great games, and it's unfortunate
Yeah,
that
it truly
won't be able to
is.
see this through.
And then it looks like we did have a bunch of people pop in. KP the Beard Man over on TikTok. We got Steven Getz saying hello. Sister, Duncan, Erica. Just wanted to shout all you guys out. Yeah. So I mean, the Annapurna stuff is absolutely insane. But we do have some good news. We know what the
Yeah.
we know about the PlayStation Plus game catalog for September. So
Yeah.
would you anything spark your interest out of these games here? Because we got
I mean, yeah.
yeah, me too.
The
so-
obvious one for you and I hope for everybody.
Yeah, go ahead and tell everybody what we got.
All right. We're getting a day one release if you got PlayStation Plus. Meaning you don't have to buy this game. You can play it day one. I'm really happy about this. The Plucky Squire. It's a game that's been on everyone's radar for quite some time. It's been in development for a long time. So we should be able to feel confident that this game is going to release in a good state. It's going to be optimized. I
hope so.
And not many bugs, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it's a game we've all been looking forward to. That's for free. You got Night in the Woods. That's a nice indie title. And it's a good pick, of course, for the season we're coming into.
Oh yeah,
The
for
spooky
sure.
season, of course. And then you got Chernobylite Complete Edition. And I think that's a really good release if you look at what's going on in the world with the possibility of
Yeah.
the looming possibilities around the world of tactical nukes. You got Chernobylite coming out to play.
That's a way.
So-
That's a way to sell the game.
Hey, maybe you play the game and you learn something you didn't know, and it maybe you'll have to apply that at some point in real life. And then you got the Harry Potter. You got the Quidditch game. Did I say it?
Yeah,
Quidditch or
Quidditch. Quidditch.
Quidditch.
Quidditch. Yeah. Yeah, that
And
I was gonna try. I had it booted up on the start screen earlier today, but then it counted down to like 2 minutes. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna switch back over. I want to try it. It doesn't look good at all. It does not look good whatsoever. But it's free
No.
on there, so I just want to
Yeah.
try it. Say I tried it. I like Harry Potter, so
Well, I do too, and it's funny. My lady likes Harry Potter a lot, and she'd asked me, I think it was last week or something. She's like, "Hey, do you want to like watch all the Harry Potters again? Because we're getting into the season, right?" And so she wants to watch them all. And I'll tell you what, I had an emergency appendectomy when I was in the restaurant business. And of course, when you have surgery, like you can't lift.
been
And
there.
there's a lot of lifting in the
multiple
restaurant
times.
biz.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was out for a little bit. And of course, I'm playing video games, but at the same time, I'm also on some medication to where it's kind of hard to concentrate.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I've never seen any of the Harry Potter movies. I never watched any of them. This is like in 2000, I think 13 when I had it.
Jeez. Wow.
And I said, you know what? I'm going to buy them all. I'm going to buy the box set on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And I'm going to watch them all. And so I did when I was out on medical leave. And of course, I really enjoyed all of them. I'm like, this is great. I love the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
John Williams, of course, a legend. I think he's the greatest film composer of all time.
He's a legend for sure.
He's a GOAT. Yeah. And so I really enjoyed them. And I enjoyed them so much that I said, I'm not going to watch them again for a long time because I want to forget everything I just saw. And the only thing that remains is how I felt about it.
Right.
But I want to forget all the plot, everything, because I want to do this again later in life.
Yeah.
Here we are. This is 11 years later. I'm going through them again.
Like, are you actively going through them?
Yeah, we watched last night. We almost finished Chamber of Secrets, but as I told you,
my favorite is Chamber of Secrets.
I haven't been feeling great, so I took NyQuil, and I can't stay up too late because I literally can't. I was falling asleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, we enjoyed the heck out of it though, and it's been very good. And there's a lot of movies, guys, that I have seen hundreds of times, well over 100. The Rockies, the Star Wars, the Back to the Futures, the Indiana Jones, the Godfathers. There's the Karate Kids. There's so many.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm an 80s movie buff, hardcore. And
me too. Yep.
So I abused these movies as far as watching them. They were absolutely abused. And I always said, if there's movies I find later in life, I'm going to wait until later to return to them. Yeah. So I can feel that experience again.
I get that.
And that's what we're doing.
I get that. That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I know people always say this, and I'm not a reader anymore. I haven't read a book in well over 10 years. I haven't read a single book. I have ADHD, like, legitimately, and I can't focus to read. I just can't. It's even a problem with games. So I have to really, 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 really be involved in the game to be able to stay focused. It's hard. That's the thing about content creation, is that it's also like on my mind 24/7. So I'm like, I'm not doing enough. That's what my head tells me all the time. I'm not doing enough. You're not doing enough. You got all this other stuff to check. Why are you playing this, or why are you doing this or that? And it's like a whole it's a whole battle that especially.
Well, I have it too.
It's the problem of social media, right? Like, at the end of the day, it's the problem of social media. It's not necessarily like about just creating content. I think I work in social media and all of that stuff. So, like, I see what happens. I know the ins and outs of all the platforms. I get it, right? I build up pages and sold them multiple times over. So I understand how it all works. But it is like a problem of social media where you're thinking you're not doing enough if you create content. If you're just using it like a normal person does, that's different, right? Like, it doesn't have to be on your mind all the time. However, it seems it's still a problem with those people too that aren't creating content. They're just scrolling instead. They're just scrolling and scrolling.
Oh yeah.
I don't scroll at all. I can't do it anymore. I check some friends' stuff here and there, you know what I mean? And that's about all I can do because I don't have the time. So
I don't blame you.
But yeah, it's one of those things. So what I was going to say, getting back to what I was going to say, is I know people always say this, but the Harry Potter books are absolutely amazing. And I truly do think for several of them, I would say for the first book, Goblet of Fire, I almost want to say Chamber of Secrets too, but I would say for the first book, Goblet of Fire, those are at least those books for sure are better than the movies. The movies are great. I love the movies too, but the books, you just get a way bigger experience of everything going on. And like you get more immersed in the world. Like you understand more of what's going on because they're limited in those movies. Even though they're long movies, they're very limited. It doesn't
Yeah.
capture everything. So like those are ones where I will say you definitely should read the books. And the only other ones I would ever say that about too is Lord of the Rings. I would also say it
Yeah.
about Lord of the Rings. I feel like
Yeah.
those are an essential read. If you like the movies, you really should read the books. So, but Harry Potter, the books, man, I'm telling you, like, you won't be wasting your time if you haven't read them. They're very good. They're all good, and several are better than the movies, in my opinion, and many others' opinions. But I love the movies too. So I love the franchise as a whole. It's unfortunate, kind of what's happened with the franchise now, which is kind of really nothing besides we got Hogwarts Legacy, um, but we got play book after, and like I can't even remember what it's called. I bought it just to add to the collection of the other Harry Potter books. What's it? It's supposed to be
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of sucks, and then the whole stuff behind J.K. Rowling and the
Yeah.
political crap. Um,
Yep.
it's unfortunate, man. There's so much that can be done with that franchise. So much. I mean, truly. Like there really, really is. And there's been talks of them rebooting it. There's also been talks of them bringing it back with like the kids of, Harry and
Yeah.
Ron and all those guys.
I think that would be cool.
I think it'd be cool too. And so you get to experience, Hogwarts again. Um, so I just feel like something should be done, man. Like Hogwarts Legacy was fine. I didn't love it. I didn't think it was a fantastic game. I enjoyed it, but I think it had a lot of problems, especially at launch. They definitely have fixed some stuff with it, but I
I
feel
had
like,
it. I had the early access on it.
oh yeah,
I experienced it. Yeah, I live streamed it actually, and yeah, there was a lot of bugs.
lot of bugs, a lot of problems. So I was a little disappointed in that. Um, didn't love it. It was like a 6 out of 10. Like I said, I don't like to rate games, but if I was gonna rate it, it was like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like what I was hoping it would be. I'll
Did
put
you
it
play
that
it
way.
on next gen?
Yeah, I played it on the Series X.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but like
I
I said,
enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too. I mean, 6 out of 10 isn't bad. I mean, that's still above average, right? Like
Yeah,
average is
I don't
5.
I don't give numbers either. But if I did, I'd give it probably an 8.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't be there with it. I
Yeah,
don't I
I
don't
still
like
got to
numbers
finish it
either,
too.
but I don't know, somewhere in the ballpark of 6 or 7 or something like that. I enjoyed it. Like I said, had fun with it, but did have a lot of problems. A lot of problems got fixed, but you know what? If you're like me, if you beat the game and like they add these patched stuff later, like it doesn't matter to you because you've got other games to play. You don't care. It's
Yeah.
only for the new players at that point. I'm sorry, I,
Yeah.
I don't go back to all these games that get 50 million patches all the time. So
No, once it's done, it's done.
yeah, once I finish the game, it goes on the shelf because I got other stuff to play.
Yep.
So that's kind of where it's at with me, but yeah. Anyway, so we got also we were speaking earlier on the MetaQuest. So apparently there was uh a sort of leak with a MetaQuest 3S. This was leaked from the Meta support page, apparently. There is it says the action button on MetaQuest 3S is located on the bottom right of the headset. Press the action button to switch between seeing your room and pass through and seeing immersive virtual surroundings. So this was on X, and yeah, it was tweeted out. I mean it looks pretty legitimate to me. Like I can't, say for sure, but it looks like pretty legitimate to me. And I can see obviously like a mid a mid refresh, I mean, for
Yeah,
the
mid-gen
mid-gen.
upgrade.
Yeah, cuz it did they do that for MetaQuest 2? Was there like a upgrade for MetaQuest 2 or
I there was something, there was a revision, but I wasn't advertised as such. But if you were in the market of buying one, you knew to get that one, if that
Oh,
makes sense.
okay. Well, I can totally see this cuz the MetaQuest 3, the good thing about the PSVR 2 is that you are working on the horsepower of the PS5. So,
Yeah.
tech-wise, the PSVR 2, like if you're just talking about the wireless headset with the MetaQuest 3 and then your wired PSVR 2, tech-wise, you got better tech going on there. So I can see them doing this, and obviously there's a ton to improve on VR. I mean, there just is, right? Like even the
Yeah.
PSVR 2, it's a high tech little toy, man. It's got a lot going on, with the 4K and the eyes and like it's got a lot, the eye tracking. There's a
Yeah.
lot going on with that thing, and I definitely can see them wanting to improve the MetaQuest 3 for sure, and it sells, man. It sells. MetaQuest is doing very well as far as I'm aware.
It
So
is.
so I'm quite happy that I've held off on getting one because it's been on my list for a while. I've wanted to get one since launch, and because I got the PSVR 2, I was just kind of like, what? This is probably enough for me. And I don't even play that often, but one of the reasons is A, space, B, you got to be plugged in. So I got to, unwrap it from the back where I've got it on there. And it's just like it's a whole thing.
Just
Um,
wait.
it,
Just
what,
wait until you hook it up to your PC.
yeah.
It'll be even more of a thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I got the box over here. I gotta open up soon. It's just sitting there. It's been waiting
Yeah.
on me to open it up. So I assume you've messed with it then?
Yeah, I hooked it up to the PC.
What are
Yeah,
your
it was
thoughts?
well, I tested it out like day 1 or 2, and it was very finicky. It was tough to get the controllers connected to the Bluetooth, and I bought an external Bluetooth as well,
What?
like an external Bluetooth adapter, because it says on Sony's website,
Oh,
like on the actual blog, that these are the recommended Bluetooths to use.
is it like? Are you talking about like their PlayStation Bluetooth adapters?
Yeah, but it's not a PlayStation
Oh,
branded
okay.
one.
Okay.
It's like I think T-Link was one of them.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that might have been the name.
TP
I got it
Link.
for, yeah, I got it for like $10. I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, sure. I think the Bluetooth on my PC is fine, but if this is what everyone's saying, I'll spend the $10 on Amazon and get it over here quick so I can actually experience this. But long story short, it was very finicky. I need to revisit it. I have plenty of VR games downloaded on Steam
Yeah.
that I had for the Quest 2 because I have the Quest 2 PC plugin.
Yeah, I
So
was gonna ask you if you had that and how that was as well.
yeah,
How
I
what's
got.
the how big of a difference do you see versus being wireless?
Well, you mean as far as quality?
Yeah,
I,
quality, yeah, resolution, whatever.
no difference there. I mean, really, what it is it opens up all of these games to you. It turns it into a PC VR headset.
Oh, okay. I thought that it improved. For some reason, I thought it worked like the piece. My understanding was that plugging it in made it more powerful.
No.
Oh my god. Okay, that I'm completely out of the loop. Then I've been told that literally. So that's interesting.
Like more powerful than what?
Like
The
it's using the PC power. It's using power from the PC.
Oh yeah, like you have to have the power in your PC to be able to do this.
Yeah, but you're saying it doesn't change fidelity or resolution or anything, right?
Yeah, so like resolution, no, like it doesn't change your base games on Quest, but it allows you to play PC VR games using your PC. It's because it's a PC VR
Okay,
headset now with
right.
the adapter. So yeah, you're working off of your graphics card,
That makes
your
sense.
GPU.
That,
Uh,
what card do you have, by the way?
uh, it is. I think it's an RTX. Was it 3080 Ti?
Okay, I got yours is better. I got a 4060.
Yeah,
So
I got that, and I
yeah.
got a 40, I think 80 in my laptop.
Ooh, dang. Yeah, I've got a 3050 Ti in my laptop.
Well, I
So
got this laptop not too long ago, and I got it from Costco actually. It was just absolute steal of a deal. It had what I wanted for memory. They had one that was like 8 gigs memory, and I ended up getting this one. Obviously, this was 32 gigs, and that's what I have in my PC. And so, yeah, got a great deal on it, smoking deal. And I hadn't had a laptop in years, honestly, and I needed one, so I didn't even own a laptop.
that's fine. Yeah, I believe it or not, until about what was it? 15 episodes ago, this show has been ran off of a laptop.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I didn't have a desktop PC, and I haven't had one since we had a family computer in like 2006. It's
oh yeah,
it's seriously been that long. I had laptops between that whole time, and then I bought this laptop at the time when I bought it in 2021. It was pretty powerful, 3050 Ti. It was,
yep.
decently powerful little thing, and obviously it's gotten quite outdated. Can't run, some things aren't great with it, so I don't really game with it or anything like that. But um, I do like the Asus Tough Gaming laptops. I think they're pretty cool. I've messed around with another one when I went to a convention in my buddy's hotel room. He was showing me his new one that he had. So what
Yeah, they're
what
pretty powerful these days.
what brand is the laptop that you have?
It's a HP Victus gaming laptop.
Gotcha. I'm still learning a lot about I'm I'm excellent with retro PCs, retro computing. Period. Commodore 64, you
Yeah,
name it, ZX Spectrum. I'm great with that stuff. Can code on
yep.
things, but I'm relearning new PC stuff just because there's so much there's so much to it now.
There
Things
is.
are coming out, like graphics cards are coming out. We're getting refreshes on graphics cards now. Like there used to be like gaps. Now we're getting refreshes where there's supers and
Yep.
and the TIs, and the super thing blows me away that like the boost is so minimal. It's just so minimal. And there was a guy that I know. I'm not going to call him out. We'll just say he's kind of in our circle of people. He had a 4090 and upgraded to a 4090 Super. And I think just so he can say, "Oh, I've got the most powerful graphics card, like consumer card that you can get."
Yeah.
How silly is that?
I mean, you do for now, but for now, it doesn't last long.
It doesn't last long at all. It does not
So
last
yeah,
long at all. I did want to shout out. We had a couple of comments that came through that I did miss. I did want to shout out. It said, what is gaming podcast? Said, I love your podcast. You guys are great. I'm watching you on TikTok too. Playing Traded Games said they like the Up movie. What is Gaming Podcast said, thanks for the podcast. It's the reason we are starting. Well, thank you. I'm glad that you're starting a podcast, and stick with it. I hope it's successful and that you have fun with it. Mr. Coffee said the first movie is just a bit rough for me, referencing Harry Potter. Each one got better.
My girlfriend was saying that too. She's like, the first one's pretty rough. She's like, the special effects are pretty bad. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I grew up in the '80s, so
bro, like
I appreciate cheesy special effects. So
yeah,
it's all good.
yeah, me
I'm
too.
like, you don't have to preface that for me.
Yeah, me too. Zapdos said, I love the MetaQuest 3, totally a VR guy, and you guys seriously have a cool podcast. Thank you a lot. Appreciate it. And then Content Streaming Co. came in here, and we got a love y'all. So thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So last thing on small news before we jump into some of our other stuff that we planned and talked about that we were going to do. We got so this one's a little interesting because we're just talking about VR, obviously, and there isn't a ton behind this, but I can actually, at first I was like, there's no way, but Sony is so unpredictable. But basically, there's a supposed leak that a wireless PSVR 2 headset is coming out. So yeah, I was looking into this, and it has to do with, in the firmware update, apparently there's something in there indicating that there could be a wireless headset coming. So the data mining with that firmware update apparently shows that. I mean, I don't see a specific thing that was said, but it was like talking about, yeah, it was just, apparently it was in the firmware update from what I understand.
Yeah, I see it. I'm looking at the screenshot. So it has a battery icon.
Yeah, I see that
on the PSVR 2 headset, which obviously we know that it plugs into PlayStation. So there is no battery icon.
Right. Yeah.
There would never be needed. That would never be needed for a wired headset. So I think that's very telling.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like it's being tested.
That is a risky move for PlayStation. Let me tell you. That is
It is. I mean, I'm happy if they do.
Yeah, me too.
Because I was a day one adopter, and obviously when you day one adopt new technology, sometimes you get burned by it, and we know that. Anyone who's done it knows it.
Yeah.
Some people say we got burned by Dreamcast.
Hey,
but I enjoyed my time with it.
I'm still playing it. It's plugged up right now, ready to go. I love the Dreamcast, man.
Right. And so there's stuff like that. It's all in how you look at it. I still had a good time with it. And same with the PSVR 2. It's like, hey, are there a ton of games? Are there a bunch of killer apps?
No.
Maybe. Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
To me, if you like racing games, that is the coolest experience. That is the best way to play Gran Turismo outside of having a custom racing rig.
Well, you can have both.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to experience that, and let me tell you, that is a crazy experience. Having the full setup with the headset on is so cool. And the crazy thing is, just a preference. That's not even a VR game. Like, that's not.
I know.
It's just a regular game that's got a VR mode in it.
Yeah, it's so cool. And when we get to our other segment, I'll talk about some other VR experiences. But I'd like, obviously, to see it be successful and to see future support. And if a wireless headset is in the making, which, again, if this screenshot is real, right, then I think that's some pretty good proof that it's at the very least being tested right now. So it's great news because I want to see some more games come out.
Yep.
And it makes sense though too with the PC adapter, right? Because
yeah, it does. I agree.
yeah, if you really want to sell more of these, there's a way. If you want to increase your library, there's a way.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you got to have a PC though and a graphics card capable and all that. So the port of entry is tough. But if you're into PC VR, this would make it a really good option because a lot of people have said, yeah, but it's wired. That's the biggest gripe.
Yeah, it's the number one thing I hear. Yeah.
It could help.
Imagine if they had just not made it wired from the get-go. I imagine that.
Battery.
I wonder if it would have did better if it would have just launched as a wireless headset with a wired option with a cable in the box.
I think it's the battery life, and I think it's the fact that it runs off the PS5.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I get it. Kind of like sort of doesn't make sense, but that's
yeah, and you can't run it streaming. I mean, you could, but
so
we ain't there yet.
What does this mean then? That's the question. What
Good question.
I mean,
maybe it's a PC
play the
PC wireless headset.
So they're like, hey, here is a headset for the PC to play our PC releases that don't have VR modes in them.
Maybe it's a wireless headset with I was gonna say maybe a PlayStation,
like a storefront.
Yeah. But no one's gonna buy that just for the PlayStation VR2 games. Like, you need to have the Steam games too.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Bluetooth. I have no idea, man.
It's very confusing because I'm thinking like, how is this gonna work? But I don't know. Yeah, with the adapter coming out, like one thing that happened is first of all, the adapter sold out and it kept selling out over and over, right? And then the sales for the PSVR 2 skyrocketed, right? So the funny thing is that I've had them sitting on my store shelves. Nobody's touched them. I've seen the same ones there forever. They were all gone. I kid you, and I live in a very small town.
Yeah.
I live by a cornfield. I'll just put it that way, right? Small town. So the 5 that were in there, they were all gone. I was shocked. I mean, I was legitimately shocked. So that's a great thing. Obviously, yeah, they sold a lot.
As long as they're not resellers.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of resellers around here. We got a big yard sale, community yard sale in the morning. I'm going to go film and do some game hunting. So there's
good luck.
There's a lot of competition. Let me tell you. That's why I stopped doing it for a while. But yeah, anyway, what was I even saying about the they were sold out. Obviously it isn't staying that way, right? Like that was the initial like hype, I think, for it. So maybe, they'll sell the occasional units here and there, and we'll see probably in the sales charts like how much it's selling. But I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't mind the wires, or the wire for the power. I'd personally rather plug it in. I would than have to worry about the battery lasting for an hour, because
me too.
The battery life's not good on the Quest.
Not
good at all.
I heard the Quest 3 battery life is pretty decent.
Good.
Like 4 hours. So
that's great.
Yeah, I heard it's pretty decent.
It's way better than the 2.
And they have the extended battery pack for it, so you can. I don't know why somebody would play for 9 hours straight in VR. It's not good for you. But you have like a battery pack for it too. But yeah, I mean, who knows, man? Who knows? All right, so we'll go to jump into, I guess, first. First we'll it's Friday the 13th, so I
Yeah.
guess we'll start with that stuff first. Jump more into the retrospective stuff. Jump into the other games and all that jazz, and then hit up the big news topics. So, we picked out 5 games that we have in our collection that we love. So these are ones I preface that, there's a lot of games that I don't have, and also I did not go in my other room with like all my much older games like PS2 and under. So I didn't do that because we were running behind the podcast already. But I did grab some games, and some of them kind of go together, but I just had to. I just had to grab them because I love them all. But I'll go ahead and let you go first and show off your 5 horror games.
Okay, I'll go with the horror games. Yes. All right. So
What did you just
first
say?
up here. What's that?
What did you just say?
The horror games?
Excuse me?
The horror? Now, some of these, I think a lot of these can fall under horror, but maybe some of them not so much. So the first one I got to go with is a game that scared the crap out of me when it came out back in the day. My cousin and I played this on Halloween night, and it was after we went trick-or-treating, because that's how long ago this was. It came out on the PlayStation 1. You guys might be able to guess what it is. And that is Resident Evil, the original. And I'm talking about when the dog jumps out of the window and scares the crap out of you. Yeah, that was such a special experience playing it on the PS1, because like those pre-rendered backgrounds in Resident Evil were like game changing.
They were, yeah.
That was the future.
Those dogs, man. Yeah, never forget that, because I went back and revisited, and the same thing still happened to me, because it's still like I knew it was going to come, but it still like got me. You know what I mean? Even as an adult, like I was like, oh, I got that like childhood fear back in me for a second, and I loved it.
It's so cool.
Did you like 0? Because I loved 0.
Yeah, I have all of them. I own them all on PS4 because they were all released physically.
Yeah.
Everything on except for Code Veronica, right?
Yeah, I think I've still got it on Dreamcast, so.
Say, I don't think they re-released Code Veronica on PS4. If they did, I have it.
They didn't.
So, yeah, I love them all. I played them all. I love the remakes they're doing. I got to go with another Resident Evil game, because this is a different experience, guys. And I'm holding Biohazard, but I also have Resident Evil Village, and I have Resident Evil 4, and I'm talking about playing this on PlayStation VR or PlayStation VR 2. My God.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Horrifying.
That is horrifying. Yeah, it is so cool. It is so scary. There's a lot of horror games, right, on VR. But again, a lot of them are experiences, and to me, the Resident Evil games feel like video games.
They do. Yeah, they do to me too.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're truly scary in VR. And so I really love the Resident Evil games. And then next up, this is a game that really did a good job of scaring me in the sense that when I played this game and I hear the audio, okay, I'm like afraid to look around the corner. It's like one of those games where you slowly inch your character and you're like, oh God, like I just know something's there. I can hear it. And you probably know what I'm talking about. This game did a great job with the audio. Originally came out on 360 and PS3. That is Dead Space. Wild game, very scary game back in the day.
Absolutely.
They just did such a great job with that sound. And then I got 2 more here. Now, I want to give honorable mention to, before I get to these, to the Last of Us. The clickers. First time being around the clickers in The Last of Us was, I don't know if scary's the right word. I think it partially is, but it just made you like on edge. Probably gave me like a little bit of anxiety while I'm playing. And I really like that personally. I like it when games can do that. So, honorable mention that. Now, this is the game that some may not consider a horror game, but there's many times to me that it felt a little horrifying. And that was Fallout 4. And I ended up platinuming this game. I really enjoyed it. I played this right when COVID started. I had bought the game when it came out in, I think 2015. I have the Pip-Boy edition where you can actually like wear the Pip-Boy and connect it to your phone with the Pip-Boy app. So it was very cool. And I just got so busy with work where I was working like 60, 70 hours a week, and playing Fallout just wasn't going to happen. Fast forward to right around when COVID starts, 6 months before that, I had already started working from home permanently because I was managing employees in other countries. And so it didn't make sense for me to drive to the office. So I was already working from home, and that's when I decided to play Fallout, was when COVID hit. I'm like, this is the perfect game, I think, for right now. The perfect dystopian escape from the real dystopia we're in right now. So that was fun. And then the last one, guys, is going to be an NES game. And you might be thinking, really, an NES game for a horror game, but I think this was probably the first horror game that I ever played was on the NES, and I played it with my brothers and my cousin. It was one of my all-time favorites, and that is Maniac Mansion. Yes. Love this game so much. Huge fan of Maniac Mansion, and of course its sequel, Day of the Tentacle. But this game was creepy as a kid. You know, I was born in 85, so I think I was playing this in 1990 with my brothers and cousin, and it was creepy. And you did get kind of scared in the game, like when you enter the kitchen.
Yeah.
Or you enter a different room, you're like, oh man, I hope like Dr. Fred's not there. Or what was his wife, Edna. Or Weird Ed. You know, like these characters that can, if they get you, they put you into the cellar, the prison, where there's like a skeleton down there, you know, chained up still. And it was just another one of those games that kind of gave you like that scary anxiety to it.
Yeah.
And it's something that's stuck with me my whole life. I love this game. So those are my favorite horror games. What do you got?
Well, I was going to ask you first, do you have any others that you don't own but would like to own?
For horror games, yeah, you know what? Actually, gosh, I almost forgot one. I literally just looked down at it and forgot about this, guys. It's right here. Eternal Darkness. Love this game. And actually, this one's factory sealed.
What? Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I know, right? That's a good one. I love Eternal Darkness.
I love it
when
too.
I first played it, you know, I remember...
It messes with you, man.
I can tell you right off the top of my head, because this is how much I frequented planetgamecube.com back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
The developer was Silicon Knights. I read so many interviews from Dennis Dyack, who was like the creator of Silicon Knights and, of course, Eternal Darkness. And there was so much hype going into this game. And I just remember like the sanity effects.
Yeah.
And like, this is so freaking cool, man.
Like erasing your save.
Yeah. And still to this day, we haven't got anything like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's crazy because Nintendo owns this IP now.
Yes.
I've looked it up. They own it. And it's like, why haven't we got another one? This game, I think, came out in 2002. Yeah,
Yep.
22 years ago. Another Nintendo IP that needs to get some love.
So I guess we'll go ahead and move on. Mine, I've got 2 honorable mentions before I jump in. Also, some of mine, some people will say aren't horror, maybe horror adjacent, I
Yeah,
guess.
some of mine were too.
But to me, like, I had to grab what I had here, and then also what I just really liked in general. The first one is a little weird because I'm showing the EverDrive for it. I don't have the cart. There's a reason why I don't have the cart. It's very, very expensive, but I'm showing this for Resident Evil Gaiden. I love that
Oh
game.
yeah.
I absolutely love that game so much. I actually replayed it again this year, and still had a blast with it. So that's a game I loved, and at the time, playing it with your warm lights, in the dark, it was pretty creepy, man. Like it was pretty creepy. You know what I'm saying? So I remember I had one. I don't remember what the brand was that put these out, but they made like these monster lights for the Game Boy Color. They would be like tentacles and like stuff like that. They were like
Yeah.
monstery things. So that's what I had, and that's what I was using playing the game with. So,
I remember the warm light.
yeah, I had the twirly warm light too. Yeah, I remember all those. I don't miss them. I'll tell you that. I don't miss those. But I do have a couple of them sealed. Next this is again, some people will argue this is not horror. Whatever. Also, a lot of people hate this game, but I love it. Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. I love this game. I thought it was so much fun online.
Oh,
I thought the
yeah.
online was great. It got a lot of hate. At the time, at least at release.
Yeah.
I do hear positive things now. For some reason now I do hear I know a larger YouTuber did a whole video on this, and it kind of blew up and the price went up a little bit, and now people are aware of it. But I think just at the time didn't get good reviews from critics and didn't sell because it was a spinoff that was multiplayer. But I think
Well,
it's a lot of fun.
you know what it reminds me of?
What's that?
And it was the same generation when Castlevania released their multiplayer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, what are you guys doing? You guys make single player games that we love, and then now you're doing this. And I think that was part of the problem, Brandon, is that people wanted the single player.
Yes. Yeah.
And even though this was good, it's just not what they wanted. So
Right.
it didn't get as much love, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. And it's one, like, if anybody is looking like for any 360 games, especially now with like, the store closure and stuff like that, I do recommend that game. I think it's a lot of fun. I've had a blast with it. I played it again last year. Still thought it was fun. I kind of wish it had continued like the sort of semi story with that game, and like kind of what was going on there. What the story was essentially, in between some of the games, and just like what was going on, basically that was the story. So it was kind of like there was a story but kind of no story at the same time.
Yeah,
If you know what I mean. So
I do.
But for the games that I picked for my actual games, so the first one is 𝐓𝐴𝐷𝐵𝑒𝑢. I love this game.
Ooh, good pick.
Love this
Good
game.
pick. Wii U version's the best version.
It is to me is the only version. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
but
I know.
without the gamepad, like the game just it's just not the same. It just
It's
isn't.
true.
The
The gamepad, it makes it.
it literally made the game, and to me, this has got to be in the top 5, maybe even top 3, like essentials for the Wii U, because this
Yeah.
takes so much advantage of the gamepad, and
Yep.
it's so essential to it that I think it's one that you have to have if you have a Wii U. You're looking for games. You got to have this game.
I think
What-
so too. That's a really good recommendation, I think, for everybody when it comes to Wii U. That's a great one to play.
Yeah, definitely. And I still love the Wii U. Mine's hooked up at all times. I like it. And obviously I
Me
use it
too.
for my Wii games too. But I thought it was a great console and I had a blast with it. Next one, we actually talked about this yesterday. So some consider it horror, some don't, but I would consider this first one horror, and that's BioShock. This is actually the 2-pack with Oblivion, but the first BioShock,
Yeah.
it terrified me. Just walking through the different areas and corridors, it just terrified me at the time.
Yeah. It does. It has a way of doing that, and I would agree with you. Playing BioShock can be very creepy. Can give you that kind of horror anxiety, as I like to, I guess, call it. I
Yeah.
keep referring to it as that, but that's what it feels like.
It
And
does. Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Me too.
Like, bring it on. Like, I like those feelings. Some people are like, oh, I don't play this. It's like, nah, this is
No,
cool, man.
I chase those feelings, man. Like,
do
I'm
too.
after it. Like that.
Yeah.
Get your adrenaline pump. It's good for you. It's good
I
for you,
agree.
man.
It's
It really-
healthy.
So these next ones, I'm realizing I actually forgot one. So hold on, give me just a sec.
There are so many horror games I thought about too that I could go through. Because there's a lot of other good ones.
Well,
One of them I was looking at, The Evil Within. That was a good one. That's a good horror game.
So yeah, well, I'm about to bring that up, so I guess I'll go ahead and bring that one up.
Oh, were you?
yeah. Evil Within, another awesome game. I loved this game when it came out. I thought it was fantastic. Tango Gameworks, obviously. Unfortunate everything that's happened with that deal, but I didn't think the sequel was as good as the first one. Personally, I don't know how you felt. Like, I thought it was fine.
Yeah, not as good.
I didn't love it, but yeah, I would have gave it, like, if I guess I rated it like a 7 out of 10. I thought it was fine, but I didn't love the sequel.
This is for Mr. Coffee, Mr. Radar in chat. Just show you real quick.
Let's go. Yeah, I remember when that
Because
went up.
this is Ghoul Patrol right here. Zombies Ate My Neighbors, Ghoul Patrol. Classic. Love that game. LucasArts, once again.
Yeah, that's great stuff. I remember when that went up, and I was totally considering grabbing that. There's just too daggone many limited run things that I want. There's one. This is off topic. There's one that I regret so much not getting that probably nobody else cares about. But it is the Eye of the Typhoon for 3DO. It's the only 3DO release that they did, and I don't think they're probably going to do any more again. But it's a fighting game for 3DO, and it's so I have I get you would call it modded. My 3DO is modded. I have an external, essentially an external ODE. So instead of removing the hard drive, I've got an external ODE to keep the hard drive still intact, so I can play whatever I want on 3DO at this point. And I've got it loaded up with games, but I do regret that one just because I do love that game, and I think it's a great fighting game. It's very fun and like kind of shows off the 3DO. Some people don't like it. Some people love it. I've seen it where it's been played at tournaments. So like, obviously it's got a crowd of people, but I do regret
That's cool.
not getting that game. So the next one, I went back there to go look. The reason that I didn't put it with these is because I actually have that one in the other pile to talk about, because I like that one the best. So I'll just go ahead and mention these. I'm going to mention them all together. Fear 1, 2, and 3.
Oh yeah. Good choice.
Yeah, I really enjoy these games. Fear 3 is probably my least favorite of the series, but I still enjoyed it. These games are just super fun, and these are ones where some people would consider it not horror, more. I mean, because it is obviously more action horror based. I I don't know what term you would use for that. It's not well, it's still kind of survival horror, but not in that way where you've got like, super low ammo and things like that.
Yeah.
But they're really, really fun games. I think it's a great series. I wish it would make a return with a new game, not just like a remake. I would love to see like a new entry in the series.
Yeah.
I assume you've played them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Super, super fun. And then I want to show off the other one when we talk about the other games in a bit. So there is all of those. And that's all my my horror picks there. So I guess
Very nice.
we'll before we do some like retrospective, I guess we should probably hit the big news, because obviously we
Yeah.
did have some really big stuff this week. The biggest being the PS5 Pro, announced pretty much right after the last podcast. I think anyway, it feels like it. What was the presentation Monday? I mean, that was only a couple of days later, realistically. I don't know. Monday, Tuesday, I forget which day, but it was one of those days. It was 8 minutes long or something. I considered streaming it, and then I'm like, I'm not going to stream for 8 minutes. I'll just, I'll react on Twitter.
It was 3 days ago.
Oh, 3.
I think
Okay.
Tuesday.
Okay, Tuesday. Yeah.
Feels like it was a week ago, though, doesn't it?
It does. It feels like it's because of discussion, and I've talked about it on a bunch of different things since then.
So have I. Yeah.
Been on 2 different podcasts this week talking about it. We talked about it a little bit on during IndieMania. I've been talking about it all week long. So, yeah. So, what's your thoughts? What's your general thoughts on this?
Okay, so general thoughts. I tweeted about this as well. Out the door in Arizona, okay, in Arizona, if you want to buy the PS5 Pro and the vertical stand that is sold separately.
So ridiculous.
Yeah, and you want to buy the physical disc drive. So if you want a physical PS5 Pro in Arizona with our sales tax, which
is a lot.
I think it's 5.6.
Okay.
There's other places that are 7 and 8.
Yeah, California.
It's $855 out the door with no game, unless they include if they're still including Astro Bot, the original Astro's Playroom, which is a great game. But yeah, so $855 out the door. So initial thoughts, yes, it's very expensive. Deeper thoughts into it as kind of the week went on is what does this mean for the future of consoles? What does this mean for PS6? How much is it going to cost? If we're getting a mid-gen refresh that costs $855 out the door, so my first thought is, okay, well, what's PS6 going to look like?
Right.
I can't say what's, Xbox Next going to look like, because I don't know if there's going to be a next Xbox. I am not in any way sold on that. So that was one question I had. The other thing that came to me was there's only one SKU.
Right.
And it's for a digital edition. So what does that spell for the future of physical? And to me, that is a telltale sign that they want to get out of physical, I think, ASAP. Yeah. I think Sony wants to have everything on their storefront. They'll make way more money. The devs won't have to worry about any of the logistics involved, the production, the printing of the disc, the materials, all that stuff. Everything goes to the store, do like Steam does. And of course, I think that's the way we're going. I will support physical until the end. Yeah. I'll be there until the very end. But when it goes all digital, that's okay. I'll never stop gaming. I'll do that for the rest of my life. But those are things that I saw as I like went into the week, and I kind of like let it simmer. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
how much are game consoles going to cost now, and what does this mean for physical? Now, there's other thoughts I had too, outside of just the very high price. One is that is it worth it, right? So I watched a live stream,
Okay.
and then later I went back and I watched it in 4K on YouTube. I made sure to put the settings to 4K,
Yeah.
max settings, so I could really see, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to be sold, essentially. Give me a reason for this to be something that's worthwhile. And I couldn't find a good reason for myself.
Right.
Now, if you want to buy a PS5 Pro, more power to you. Literally more power to you. There's more power
Yeah. More
for the
power to be
PS5
had.
Pro. And there's nothing wrong with anyone who wants to buy this. If you want to buy it, buy it. You know what I mean? I look at it this way. Like, if I was going to be buying a PS5, what would I choose if I didn't have one? Like, what would you choose,
Yeah.
Brandon? If literally, like, if you didn't have a PS5, if you don't have a PS5 right now,
I would get
how into PlayStation are you? Are you into it enough to be like, oh, well, I waited 4 years and now I'm really into PlayStation. I want to spend $855 to buy a PlayStation 5 Pro with no game?
I mean, if I didn't have one now, I would just go with the PS5 Pro. I mean, it's hard because like all in the cost is crazy. I mean, it is crazy. Like, it's hard to even say that. Like, I I mean, I think that I think I personally probably would still I would just I go with the PS5 Pro if I didn't have one. Of course,
Yeah.
the entry is expensive, so I think realistically, like, say I didn't have any of the modern consoles, I think at that point, we'll exclude Switch on this, I guess. If I would just get at that point I would get a Series X. Now, of course, we don't even know what's going on with Xbox, but that doesn't mean there's still plenty of games to be played, right? Like, and the cost of entry is significantly lower, and Series X's are on sale all the time. I see them
All the time.
all the time. So it would be hard to say, don't get a Series X over, I obviously I think that we're not getting a midlife refresh because they just announced a 2 TB Series X, and I don't think we're getting one. But I think I personally would go with the PS5 Pro if I did not have one. I would just save up the money and I guess just go that route because I do feel like my thoughts are the price is ridiculous, but the stuff with the PS5 Pros is pretty awesome. The stuff they're doing, and it is a game changer. It's not just like a small refresh. The AI upscaling and the machine learning is a bigger deal than people realize. And if you dig deep into what it is, it's a game changer. Like, you can't tell in that presentation when they're showing older PS5 games. You can't tell. You can't tell in compression with YouTube. I don't care if you have it at 4K. You can't tell. You just can't.
You can't.
So it's very hard to demonstrate and show that. Like, there's no way over the internet really to show that. Like, you got to see it in person. And then obviously you've got to along with all of that, you've got to have a pretty good TV, right? You've got to definitely you got to have a good TV for sure. Like, not just a generic 4K TV either. You want to be able to have a TV that is capable of HDMI 2.1 and being able to do all, VRR and all the things that you can't even use some of that with the PS5 unless you have a TV that does that stuff. So that is another point of entry people don't really talk about.
No, they don't.
Yeah, I mean, like the PS5 Pro, if you have a generic 4K TV or especially if you have 1080. I would definitely not go the PS5 Pro route at
Well,
that point.
Brandon, how many people own a 4K ready TV and they think they have a 4K TV?
A lot of people. A lot of people think
They have no idea that they're just
having upscaled.
that just means you can accept 4K
Yeah.
signal.
Yep.
And that you're not running it in 4K. And I think a lot of people don't even understand that the stuff you're watching on TV is not in 4K.
Yeah. Nope. It's not. And a lot of people also don't realize, like they advertise 8K on the box of the PS5. People think, the PS5 is not even natively playing 4K games. Right? Like it's not even, they advertise 8K and it doesn't even natively play 4K games. So I don't know, man. It's like that was a crappy move on Sony to put 8K on the box. That's dirty. You know what I mean? Because like people like us, we know, right? Like I knew before launch. Like
we all did.
And then you know what happened? Laughed. They did that to sell 8K TVs, and it did sell 8K TVs. I was in and I still am, a bunch of PlayStation 5 groups, like when it first launched. So I got the Series X day one. I went and waited in line on the pre-order day, and for like 4 hours the pre-order day. And so on launch day, listen, this is a crazy story. I think I've told this maybe one other time in the podcast, but on launch day, there was a line of people there to get the Series X, like a long line, like down to 2 other stores, right? Because it's in a shopping mall. Yeah. And I go, they don't believe me that I pre-ordered it, so I had to go in the back of the line. I was like, I was kind of irritated because I was like, I pre-ordered it. Like, here's my receipt. Some lady got mad at me, and it's like, no, you need to come back there. Anyway, they start letting people in. I was the only person that got a Series X. They had no extra Series X's. Only me and 2 for the other 2 people on the pre-order day that were there, but they hadn't came to pick it up. So I was the only one that walked out of the store at the Series X, and they had to have I told them no, but they had one of the GameStop employees walk me out because people were so pissed off.
Wow.
Like, yeah, it was like, and I was a little like sketched that like somebody was going to, I don't know. I was a little sketched because people are a little crazy around here. But yeah, that's a funny story. I don't even know how we got to that.
Well, yeah, it was a big deal though, like because I got my PS5 on day one. I was lucky enough to secure a pre-order, and you know what I did, Brandon?
What?
I didn't want it shipped to my house because I live in a rural area, and sometimes my packages don't get delivered to my property.
Yeah, I've had it happen. I get it.
They get delivered somewhere else. So I got it from Walmart, which is across the street from me.
Okay.
I had it pre-ordered, and I set it for store pickup. Now, if you remember, there was no PS5s in store.
None.
So I'm going to Walmart to go. I'm the only one with a store pickup at my Walmart. They told me that.
Yeah.
So, I'll just say that if anyone tried to do anything, I was prepared.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll just say that. But for real, people get jumped. They get
do.
They get held up.
And
it does happen. It totally 100% happens.
There was a guy in there like yelling, like he's what? And he was like, why is this mother effer able to get one and I can't? I'm trying to get it for my son. I'm like, I'm sorry. I waited here for 4 hours on the pre-order day. You didn't. I'm sorry you just showed up and it's not my, fault.
And this is November 2020.
Yeah. And this was
people's mindsets, their heads, a lot of people's heads weren't in the right place.
And then
at that point in time.
That's true. And something similar, I got the PS5 3 days after it came out, and something kind of similar happened where I went in there and there were a bunch of people that saw me, like they were eyeballing me about getting the
Some people,
PS5.
yeah, some people will case you. They'll literally case you in the parking lot.
That's what, and I was like, so I did have pocket knife with me, because I was a little nervous. But yeah, no, they were eyeballing me, so I thought that maybe they were gonna come out in the parking lot or something. So nobody walked out with me for that, and I actually felt a little more nervous about that one because the way they were looking at me, I didn't like it. And the PS5, uh, people wanted both, but the PS5 obviously was way bigger at launch than the
Yeah.
Series X. But I was surprised, man. I couldn't believe how many people were there waiting for that Series X. I'm talking, this went like 3 stores down. There was a long line. Like I don't even think I saw lines that long for like some of the older Call of Duty launches, or like some of
Mm.
the big game launches where, it was
Yeah.
like a big deal. So I was kind of surprised by that, but around where I'm at, the Series X is very popular. Xbox, like as a brand, is very popular here for some reason. Like,
Interesting.
yeah, everybody back to high school at 360, people had just stuck with the Xbox brand.
Yeah. But that's how it is in different areas of the United
Yeah.
States, different pockets. That's how it goes. You know that.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely. I don't know what it is about that, but the Xbox brand definitely has stuck around here. So, um, yeah, that's interesting stuff about that. So, PS5 Pro, I guess it's like, if you want to get it, get it. I mean,
Yeah.
I love the upgrades to it. It's just the price is the hindrance. And I will say this, I put a short out about it, and I'm not defending the price, but these companies do lose money on the consoles and rely on software sales. So I don't know. I cannot give a number on the loss of what the PS5 Pro will be, but my assumption is it's going to be bigger than the loss for the PS5.
Yeah. I think
Uh,
so too.
yeah, because the hardware they're using, the PSSR, the PlayStation super something resolution,
Super sampling.
super sampling resolution. So that is their proprietary version of DLSS.
Yep.
So the cost of all of this, I mean, if you were to count in like development costs, even creating PSSR, it's definitely a significant jump. It's got to be. Now, people argued with. I got a lot of nasty comments for that short, and I was not defending the price. I was just saying, hey, like, I get the price is expensive. Yes, I don't like it either. But hey, these companies are also losing money on these console sales, and my assumption is they're losing more money on this one because that was also the case with the PS4 Pro. They're losing more money with that. And
losing money but selling more 4K TVs.
That's what it's. I am
so making money back on the 4K TVs they're selling.
I'm so glad that you said that, because that is one of the things. So that's why 8K was on the box, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
that is why.
100%. It's always been that way. The consoles are selling the TVs, right? Always been that way. And nobody else really talks about that either. I don't hear anybody talk about that one, but it's been like that for a long, long time. People want to be ready. I remember in the PlayStation 5 groups before the console even launched, people were getting their TVs and making sure they were going to, be in Series X groups too, making sure they're going to be able to have all the green check marks on there, and
totally.
Yeah.
Sony has branded on a whole line of their TVs which ones are PS5 ready and which ones are like PS5 preferred. So not just ready, but like, hey, this is your best experience right here. So yeah, they did the same thing. So they did it with PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
They sold more 4K TVs, and then they did it with the newer TVs with, hey, this is HDMI 2.1. This can give you the VRR, and
so
it works.
Did you know that they actually made like a PS5 monitor? Sony did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
So
saw
the
it.
end zone monitor,
Mhm.
very interesting, and it matches the color scheme and everything.
Expensive.
Very expensive. Yeah, I'm looking
Cool
at
though.
it. Look at it now. It's on sale for 650 versus the 900 it was at. So it's
Yeah,
20.
I always looked at that and thought, well, if the price is ever cut in half,
If it was cut in half, for sure. I mean, like, I'm looking at
that's
you on
why.
my PS3 monitor right now. So
Ah, that's funny.
yeah, I use that as my one of my secondary monitors. Um, yeah,
Yeah, it's expensive, Brandon, but I think people it's up to people what they want to do with their money, ultimately. And for me, I think we're more than halfway through this PS5 gen.
yeah, we
This
are.
is we're what 2 months away from being 4 years,
Yes. Yep.
and I don't see the PS5 going for 8 years.
I don't either.
I could see it going for
I think
most
seven
likely six,
max. Seven
six,
max.
most likely
Yeah.
6, 7 max. But I could see 6, and then you continue to support it
Yeah.
until year 7, 8, just like they've done with the
Mm-hmm.
PS4. So for me, it's like, do I need? This comes down for me. To me, it comes down to needs and wants, and I get a lot of what I want, but sometimes I also need to look at the needs part. And hey, here's the thing: Sony has gotten me used to choosing if I want fidelity or performance,
Yeah.
and I always choose performance.
Me too.
And it's all about, for me, the gameplay. I do appreciate the graphics. We all do. We appreciate
Yeah.
everything, though. And if you got to choose one, I choose performance. And from what I've gathered, for the most part, my performance is going to be unaffected
Yeah.
because I'm good with where it's at. I have TV. I have a TV that can take advantage of it. It's PS5 ready in every way, shape, and form. It's 85-inch. And then I have my 𝐵enQ 4K gaming projector. I have their top of the line projector with a pull down widescreen.
Oh wow! How is that?
Oh, dude, that's what I play on most of the time.
Wow,
I have
I've never actually gotten
100.
it. I've never
I have a
gotten to see one.
150-inch screen. I have the 𝐵enQ X3100i.
I want to look that up.
It's the X3100i, and it's their flagship gaming projector. There's no input lag. It's a beautiful experience. I have it hooked up to my 7.1 surround sound in the living room, and it's badass. And I have it blacked out in there, so I can game it any time of the day. There's no light that's gonna come in, and it's a great experience.
Boy, that is a there's a hefty price tag though.
I know.
How much did you pay for it? Because I'm seeing like very varying prices on it.
So
Like,
get this.
yeah.
I was looking at this projector, and I had already bought a couple of gaming projectors and tested them out, and ended up returning them because it just wasn't right. There was something wrong with them, and a lot of them was the color. The color was not accurate.
Yeah.
And it just bugged the crap out of me. I'm like, I'm not going to spend this kind of money unless this is right. You know what I mean? I'm not going to settle. I'm not going to settle is what I said. So they got returned.
Yeah.
And so I had seen this one on 𝐵enQ's website, and I'm thinking, okay, like, this sounds really legit, but that's very expensive. And it wasn't out yet. At the time I was looking at it, it was when it was still not out. Brandon, I go on eBay, and I'm looking at 𝐵enQ projectors.
Yeah.
There's one on there. It's that one. And I'm like pulling up the website and doing a side by side. Like, this is the projector that's not out. I look at the description. The guy said he got the projector from 𝐵enQ to do a product review on it. It's only been used for 1 hour. I've done my review. I'm selling it.
Oh my gosh.
No, I was like, holy shit, are you serious? Because, there's a review embargo too.
Yeah, of course.
And so I'm like, well, I'm not subject to those terms.
Yeah, that have nothing to do with you.
So I bought it on eBay and I reviewed it. I have the review on my channel. I think it got over 100,000 views.
Wow. I'll have to
Yeah.
check it out then. That's
So,
wild.
long story short, I got it for 1,400.
All
Which
right.
you see what the price
Yeah,
tag is.
I see. Yeah. Yeah. That's a deal.
So it was
Wow.
a steal. And Brandon, it came in the original box. It looked like 𝐵enQ shipped it to me.
That's awesome.
I was shocked. I was just like, this is so freaking cool. I like one of the rare instances where I got a coveted piece of electronics early. Before everyone else.
That makes me wonder how many people do that, sell review items. 'Cause I could tell you this. I don't.
Probably a lot.
Yeah, probably a lot. I've never sold one. I've never sold one, but I mean, I guess like if you're a big YouTuber and you get them all the time. I mean, I know I get enough as is. You probably get overloaded with stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah, I have like 4 projectors.
All right, well, send one my way because I have never been in the projector game ever. I've never had a projector. I wouldn't know anything about them, to be honest with you.
Well, we used to have them for sports. Like we'd watch football and watch all the Suns games on a projector. And so projectors for the longest time were not suitable at all for video games because the input lag was absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, that's what I would think. Like
they were horrible. And it's changed over the last 5-10 years. And now, like this projector I have, 0 input lag. That projector's input lag is better than all of my TVs in game mode. It's better than my NVIDIA G-Sync Dell gaming monitor that's right here. It's better than everything.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's just shocking. I would not think that a projector would look better than a high-end screen.
Dude, I played Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on the projector with the surround sound. And man, it was just such a good experience because the soundtrack.
Yeah.
In Final Fantasy and Rebirth especially, I was just like, dude,
that's amazing.
I am in my own world right now.
I love it, dude. That's so cool. I'm glad to know that because that's not something I knew. I have seen a couple shorts of people making like I saw they had like they made like a projector area on the side of their barn or something for gaming. Yeah. And so like they painted it a specific color and everything for the projector. And yeah,
so when I've camped out for consoles, I always bring the projector. And I have many instances where we've camped out and you can literally see the giant 150, 200-inch screen. It's however big you want it to be, but on Best Buy's wall at night, like after they've closed.
That's wild.
And literally everyone's playing on the projector. We're playing Mario Kart, we're playing Smash Brothers. I remember like bringing my 64 and we were playing No Mercy, which, I love the N64 wrestling games.
Those two. Yeah.
Yeah. So tons of fun. Projectors are sick now. Like if you ever have any questions, I've been tinkering with projectors for almost 20 years.
Well, I will tell you this, a company reached out to me. There's been a few things that I've denied because I didn't think that it was something I could use. Company reached out to me about 3 months ago for a gaming projector.
What company?
Find
out.
I'd have to go back in my email and look.
Find out off when we're not on the podcast. Let me know, and I probably know who they are, and I can tell you about it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll do that. And then, all right. So next couple of big things, real quick. We've got obviously the Xbox layoffs, 650 more.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I can't say that I would recommend getting into the gaming industry, in the AAA gaming industry, in 2024. It's hard to say. I mean, like, will you have a job, in 6 months of starting at a place?
It's not only that though. It's not just development, it's journalism too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's taken a big hit. The credibility aspect has taken a big hit, I think, especially over the last 12 months. But over the
yeah.
last a year or two, it's been taking some hits in the mainstream
Well,
sense,
what's
the
funny
mainstream journalism.
is that, like, I don't know if you remember this, but I definitely do, and I remember this all the way back to, like, the Nintendo forum days. Um, IGN always kind of had a stigma around them because they always put out very opinionated pieces on pieces that weren't supposed to be opinionated, if that makes sense. So, like, there was always stuff around them, but I just noticed it start to dwindle down over time. I feel like it's been a little bit longer than that the credibility has just been gone, like, for them.
Yeah.
Now, and you're definitely accurate in saying, like, it's definitely worse in the last 12 months. Like, credibility for any mainstream video game journalism is, like, it's out for me, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. I have said it over and over on this podcast. The critic scores and things like that mean nothing to me anymore. Mean
Yeah.
absolutely nothing.
I'm more interested in what the people have to say that are leaving Google reviews, that are
Yeah.
taking time out of their day to tell me how much they either love this game or how much they hated it. Because you're really not getting much in between. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're either going to tell you if they loved it or they hated it. They're not really going to tell you usually if it was okay or this or that. Like, I'm interested in what the people have to say. Just like movies, right?
Yeah, same thing. I don't care about the critic score at all with movies. I want to hear
Yeah.
about the viewer score.
If Siskel and Ebert gave Happy Gilmore 2 thumbs down, what would happen if no one saw that?
Yeah.
To me, that's a great movie. I loved it. I saw it in the theater growing up. You know what I mean? Like, you always got to look at that. And I think the thing is, though, is that for the longest time, gaming journalism was pretty much on the same page as us. Like, if they thought it was good and we played it, it was good.
Yeah.
But movies, I thought, was pretty divided on like what the critics thought was good versus what the moviegoers.
Yes,
and I think that
because of people
closing
like
now.
It was because of people like Ebert at the time. Like, you had like these kind of heads for the doing the movie ratings. Like, there were big names for people that, like, oh, so and so rated it this, so, like, I'm not going to watch it at all.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what really matters is what the people have to say. The people who are playing the games, the gamers, us who are playing it. What do you guys think about the game? That's what I'm more interested in. And that's why, like, I take reviewing games so seriously. And that if it's not a good game, I'm going to tell you guys.
Yeah.
If it's a game that I really think is questionable coming up upon release, I'm going to make sure I play it and review it ASAP. Like I did with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Wrath of the Mutants.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I don't think this game's like, I got a vibe about it. It's not going to be great.
Yeah.
And so I want to play it and review it so I can fall on the sword for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'll spend the money because if this sucks, I'll tell you guys stay away from this game.
It's funny, we kind of connected over that game.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't find it anywhere. And then I went and watched your video about it, and I was like, I love turtles a lot.
I do too. I love them.
Yeah. So I wanted it kind of regardless. But I had a feeling it wasn't going to be good to begin with. Like, I just had a feeling it wasn't going to be Shredder's Revenge. It wasn't going to be any of the games on the collection. But yeah, you fell on the sword for everybody, and we appreciate that.
Well, yeah, and I think that's just part of reviewing games, but it's like it's about being honest.
Yeah,
And
it
when
is.
you can't trust journalism and you can't, I mean, I'm in a mainstream media in itself. I haven't trusted that
Yes.
since, like, I don't know if I ever did, but I really didn't in the late 90s, early 2000s when I was
Well,
still a teenager.
I have a clause that I have written down for any video games I review. So if somebody sends me a code, I have the same thing that I say to every single person, that if I do not like the game, I'm just putting it in terms. If I don't like the game, I'm going to say that I don't like the game. So if you're not okay with that, because there are companies I've been reached out to before that they just want to hear positive stuff, and they
Hmm.
ask to see your
I know.
review before you post it, and
I
I
know.
and I deny it. So I won't do that.
Hey, yeah, we've seen this. It's obvious when this happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's obvious when certain companies, certain developers are like, "Hey, we need to get this game code out to streamers immediately to start stirring up some positive views, right?"
Yeah.
I mean, we pretty much just had that with a game.
Yeah. Yeah. We did. Which one are you talking about? I think I.
Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh yeah. 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 Yep. Yeah.
Pretty much exactly what happened.
Yeah, it was so bad that I was listening in on somebody's podcast, and they were saying that they were, I guess, to like, they were, what were they doing? They were playing the game beforehand so that they could talk about the game, but they had to play with Ubisoft employees talking to them, and they had like a designated time, and then like you got a 30-minute break, and then you play it again for like another hour, and they would like tell you the story here and why this is this and all that. I'm like, are you kidding me? So you're connecting to their server to play the game, and so that
Yeah,
you could talk about it. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry, and Ubisoft has already lost my trust completely. I'm sorry. They
they have
just
to.
they've lost my trust completely, and I love some of their properties. And I mean, like, what's going on with Rayman? Like, Rayman is one of my favorite video game characters ever.
Yeah,
And like those last games that we got, no, I'm not the Raving
was
Rabbit stuff, but
was
the
Legends our last one?
Legends, and then the one after that.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Uh,
the one after. Yep.
10 out of 10 games, excellent platformers, really fun, loved it. And even like 3D Rayman back in the day, like, it just was fun, man. Like,
Yep.
they have other like, I like a couple of the Assassin's Creed games, and like I like Far Cry 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. um so it's unfortunate, but they've lost my trust completely.
Oh my god, dude! Rayman Origins came out in 2011, and Rayman Legends came out in 2013. It's
Oh wow.
been 11 years.
Holy crap, I didn't know it's been that
It
long. Wow.
it
Well,
doesn't feel
that
like that, does it?
it does make sense, because I played Origins on the Vita. That's how I played it. So I guess,
Wow,
yeah. I
time
mean,
flies.
it sure has. I mean, it it flies so fast, dude. It's
It really
crazy.
does. This keeps happening too.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I think that's all we got for the big news. So I guess we'll jump quickly into our games that we picked out. These are just some of our favorite games that we own, that we physically own. We decided to just go physical. So obviously, this isn't like my top 5 games of all time by any means. But
Yeah.
these are 5 that I really like and I think are really cool and unique and stuff like that. So I'll let you go ahead and go first.
Okay, so I grabbed a handful, right, of physical games that I own that I'm like really happy, I guess you could say, that I own. These aren't, again, they're not my favorite games of all time. I mean, some of them are probably right up there. But these are games that I'm just like, man, this is so cool that I guess you say that I own these physically. Okay. And this is the Oracle of Ages and
Oh,
Seasons.
yep. Ages is
And
one of my favorite ever.
so I bought these when I was in high school, and I still have them somehow in immaculate condition with all the times I moved when I was younger. When I say younger, when I was a young man at 18, 19, 20, I was moving all the damn time. Next is a game that this was a gift from my processors, my team at Lone Depot that
Oh,
I
wow.
managed. It is factory sealed Super Mario Brothers 3
That's so cool.
for Famicom. And again, yeah, I have it in my glass cage normally, just over there.
I
But
love it.
I was so shocked, Mike. You guys got me factory sealed Mario 3.
That
What?
is so cool.
And they also got me factory sealed Mario 2.
Wow.
Mario 2 USA.
Yeah. That's
So
cool.
That's pretty rad. And then just to round out a few more, this is the broadcast satellite,
Yep.
Legend of Zelda.
Yep. I got
DS
the
Zelda.
loose cart for it.
We got these babies right here.
Yep.
The Legend of Zelda Master Quest and the good old promotional disc. Really happy I still have this one physically, Symphony of the
cool.
Night. And then this just came in, the Castlevania Requiem.
Dude, nice.
This was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive.
Oh, wow. How did you manage to snag it?
Limited Run was doing a sale. Like a
For the Comic-Con version?
yeah, like a stock sale. They did it like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, their blowout sale they do
Yep.
every year. Yeah, I grabbed a couple things from that too.
We got
Garbage
Pail Kids.
Nice.
Mad and
I love the cart for that.
There too. Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl.
I got that one as well. Good stuff.
I enjoy them. And I'll leave a couple other ones for another time. But
Okay.
here's one. We got factory sealed still DuckTales Remastered.
Nice. That's pretty rad. I love that game. It's a
And
really
who would've
good remaster.
Right, but who would have thought that this game would be removed?
It's crazy, man. I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I
know.
I actually played that on the Wii U.
I did too.
Yeah, I loved it, man. Had so
Love
much
it.
fun. All right, so like I said, I just grabbed a few. I also was kind of quick and didn't get any of my like older stuff because it's in another room. But the first one is Block'em Sock'em for the Dreamcast. So I actually played the ROM. I have not played this Dreamcast version of it yet. But I did play the ROM, and I just thought it's really, really cool. It's John Hancock's game that he recently put out, and my buddy Changeling sent it out to me. For some reason, he sent it out to me, and that was really awesome of him. So I appreciate that. But yeah, it's really, really cool. It's a neat puzzle game. I thought it was pretty fun, kind of unique, and I think that he also has it on. I think he put out on the NES as well, I want to say. So
and John made it.
Yeah, John made it. Yeah.
Cool.
I love the Dreamcast, so I have a bunch of Dreamcast homebrews that like they're being put out all the time. So
I know.
I love it. So next one is Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo for the 3DO. This is
sick.
The essential version of this game. Literally considered the best version of the game. It's arcade perfect. Absolutely flawless. I love this game in general, period. But it's awesome. I love it. Really, really good stuff. Next one is Metroid Prime Hunters. This game just means a lot to me. It was during a time when I had a lot of medical issues. I played this online a lot with friends. And this was during like the Nintendo Insider days. So I met a lot of my friends there, and then we got to play, and it had voice chat. So I got I still have one sealed, the little headset for the voice chat. I got the Wi-Fi USB connector. But I loved the multiplayer for this game. I must have put in over 1,000 hours in the multiplayer. Just phenomenal. And then obviously a pretty new one, but I can safely say it is my favorite game of all time. Tears of the Kingdom. I just love it. I still love Breath of the Wild too.
Mm-hmm.
But I now a lot of people don't feel this way. Actually, I've recently learned.
That's what I've heard too. Actually, it's funny. Nate just commented in the chat, and I actually learned this from being on the Nintendo podcast that a lot of people prefer Breath of the Wild over Tears, and I was like, well, for me, I think Tears is. I think they're both amazing games. I love them both, but if I could choose one, I'd choose Tears.
Me too.
It's more. It's just more.
There's more. It's more of Breath of the Wild with more to do. But yeah, I've recently learned that people don't feel that way. Somebody told me the other day, actually, they said they started Tears of the Kingdom and just stopped. Like they just stopped it. Like they didn't like it at all. They didn't like the new mechanics. So I don't know. But for me, Tears of the Kingdom won out over Breath of the Wild, but I still love Breath of the Wild. That experience
of course
is unmatched. First time playing, Zelda in that way. It was like Ocarina of Time. Like, you know what I mean? Experiencing it in 3D for the first time. But this was this open world Zelda. And you could argue it, and I always say that Breath of the Wild is most similar to the first Zelda game.
That's what I've always said too.
Yeah. So that's how I feel. I mean,
it is.
Always felt that way. But the last one, which was kind of sort of part of what we were talking about earlier, is Fear Files. And not a lot of people are aware of this, but it essentially is kind of like standalone expansion packs. So for like the PC version of Fear, I think Fear 2 and Fear 1 had like expansion packs that you could buy, but this is basically them on a disc. And I weirdly enough like Fear Files better than I do any of the other Fear games. I don't know why. I don't know if I'm like an outcast saying that because I've never bothered to look, but I love it. And also, obviously, these are delisted now, so like the price is already expensive on this. I don't know how much it went up, but it was like going for like $60 or something at the time. But anyway, yeah, it's really good. It's cool standalone expansion pack. So
yeah, and you're right. You're right on those prices because as soon as you pulled that up to me, just right off the bat, I'm like, this sounds rare. I'm gonna look this up on eBay as you're talking about it. And yeah, sure enough, yep, it's right around that price range you said.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Hopefully, it drops back down for people because I'm not with the inflation on games. There's this weird thing where somebody owns a game, they want it to stay super pricey, so other people can't get it, or they just want to like feel and better or something because they've got an. I'm sorry, I'm not that way. I want people to be able to play games, but.
Absolutely.
Hopefully that goes back down. But I guess just kind of a couple minutes before we close out, I guess sort of talk about kind of like a retrospective, I guess, on your content, what you've done, and then I guess as far as the Nintendo podcast is included in that now.
Yeah.
And then I guess kind of talking on my end. So just tell us sort of kind of like why you started the channel, where did you start, like what was the thought process?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's still all fresh in my mind. So after working 10 years in the restaurant business, and I was a traveling fixer for the company, meaning they would literally move me. They'd send me the U-Haul. They'd pay for everything. I'd go to different parts of California. And if you guys are familiar with Island's restaurant, in fact, they even brought it up in Cobra Kai.
Oh,
in the most
really?
recent Cobra Kai season. I'm like, what? Yeah, they were talking about islands, but I managed for them here in Arizona and then out in California and San Diego, up and down the coast, and then up in Monterey Bay. So I did that for 10 years. And if anyone who's worked in the restaurant business knows, it can be very, it can be taxing.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
especially in management, you're
God, yeah.
working tons of hours, you're on salary. And so when I was in the restaurant business, and this is why I bring it up, I had always thought about doing a YouTube channel, right? And reviewing games.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because when I got towards the end of my time there, I wanted to continue like moving up into a director role. And I didn't get it because, and this isn't a reflection on the company. This is just a reflection on the regional manager I had at the time. But he said, Steve, you go run circles around all of our other directors. The problem is you just don't look old enough.
Okay.
I didn't look old enough. So that's when I was like, all right, this is a Mickey Mouse company. And I don't mean that as a whole for the company because it's a great company and I still know a lot of people there.
Yeah.
But this operation I'm in here with this district is Mickey Mouse. I'm out. So I gave him I gave him a 3-month notice because I was going to be moving from Monterey Bay back to Arizona. Okay. And that was a big move. And I wanted to give them time because we were a very remote location.
Yeah.
And I cared. Like I still cared about him and I still do today. So I moved back to Phoenix, back home to AZ, and I was planning on transitioning over to doing Twitch and YouTube. And guys, this is in 2014. Okay.
Yeah.
I ended up going to the Christmas party for Loan Depot Mortgage Company with my cousin and my brother as their +1. They said there would be a lot of hot women there. So I said, okay, I'll suit up. Got the suit on. We went. Before you know it, I talked with a lot of people that are like, you should really come work here because you know how to multitask. You were in restaurant management, so you'd kill it over here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I ended up interviewing. I spent about 10 years there. Ended up becoming a director there. Started entry level. I got, I think, 11 promotions throughout that time. And when I was in it, working in mortgage, I had said to everybody, because I always said, Steve, what would you do if you didn't do this? Or what would you do if you got fired or you got laid off? Is it simple? Like, I go do what I've wanted to do. Yeah. I'd go do what I was planning on doing until this job kind of fell on my lap. I'm going to go do YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So in September 2022, that's when I decided to transition over and start doing YouTube. I will tell you guys this. I knew absolutely nothing. I have never used Photoshop. I have never edited a video. I've never recorded a video. I don't even record videos on my phone. I didn't use social media.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have anything. I didn't have Instagram. I didn't have Twitter. I didn't do Snapchat. I don't do anything because I was literally managing for like 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I really believe in leading by example. Yeah. So my phone's never out. Never out. I'm never on my phone. Never texting. I'm always helping.
Yeah.
I'm always helping my team. Right. So I knew zero, and I want to make this crystal clear for anyone who's interested, maybe like in doing YouTube.
Yeah.
Just know that I knew nothing. And I also don't have like youth on my side. I'm not like a teenager. I'm not 20 years old.
Yeah.
I'll be 40 in May. And so, the older you get, sometimes the harder it is to like learn certain tech.
It is. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And, like video games is not learning new tech, obviously. I play video games till the end, but learning how to do like...
It's everything else.
Yeah. Video editing, setting up a camera, lighting, learning how to like mix music correctly, like I'm not even scraping the surface. And Brandon, you know this from being in it.
Yeah.
The things you have to do on social media, trying to make sure that you come across authentically you, because that's important to me.
Yep.
And I want to make sure I always come across authentic. But learning how to like talk in front of a camera, and
that's the hardest thing. People don't know. Talking by yourself to a camera is so hard. Like when you start, it is difficult.
It is very hard. And the difference with this is that I was on camera all the time with Lone Depot in meetings, hosting meetings with
other people.
Hundreds of other people. Yeah. And I've been up in front of hundreds of people every month for our monthly sales rallies. I was in front of them on a microphone, and that's all fine and dandy. Like that's my that was my wheelhouse. That's what I did. And going from that though to just like talking in front of a camera about your passion with video games, it's just different. There are some differences there. And if there's one thing I don't like to do, it's like waste people's time.
Yeah.
And so I had to figure out how to deliver what I want to on YouTube without all the ums and the ahs and the filler words. So I had to work on that as well, on the delivery. And so there's been a lot is what I'm trying to really get to. And then I had to figure out what is it that I want to do, because I know I want to work in video games. That's been my dream.
Yeah.
Whole life I want to work in video games. So how can I do this? And then so you got to try some things out. And I tried things. Like first video I did was in like January or December 2022, I think, and it went up January 2023. So I've been on YouTube since January 2023, basically. And I reviewed the Analog Pocket. And I reviewed it because I was very excited to get it. And I was on the first list of people to get it.
Yeah.
And I noticed that nobody was showing video game footage, like really good close-up footage. Yeah, like everyone was talking about how great the screen is, but nobody was showing it close up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to show people how this looks because no one's doing it. So I need to fill this void. And then it became this, and that. And ultimately, I figured out what I wanted to do, which was review video games. And again, that's what I always wanted to do. And then as time went on, I started seeing actually a real need for honest video game reviews.
Yeah.
Because I'm very aware. I've been going to IGN since they were N64.com.
Yeah.
Since 96. I've been going to all these video game websites. And I have seen a shift over the years to where I think
paid
good,
reviews.
Honest. Yeah, I think good, honest. I'll just say I think good, honest video game reviews are needed. And so that's what I'm doing now. And that's how I got into it. And I would say my biggest hurdle in the first probably 12 to 15 months was learning all the technology and how to video edit and how to do all this stuff. And
yeah,
you learn it with no help from anyone. And you watch YouTube videos and it's a crapshoot if they're going to answer your question or not.
Yep.
And then you're on to the next video. And before you know it, you've been sitting at your computer for 12 or 14 hours.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, that is so true. Same for me. It was all very grassroots effort. I didn't use anything other than Facebook. So I had like an Instagram from a long time ago. Didn't use it for years. Didn't use Twitter at all the socials. Didn't know anything about video editing. Didn't know anything about audio editing, which is completely different than video editing.
Totally.
Yeah, mixing, mastering, all of that stuff. The talking in front of the camera to yourself. Listen, let me put it this way. Last year, I spoke at 7 panels at conventions. And that, for me, was easier than learning how to talk in front of a camera to myself, to nobody.
Interesting. So you and I had the same hurdle. Because in front of people, easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's like that's how I am. I am an outgoing person in
Mhm.
person, but on camera, it's like how I was more concerned with how can I make sure I'm being myself
Yeah.
to the point that it was debilitating at times.
Yeah. Yeah. It really was too. And it's like, I try my best to not filter myself as well. And I mean that in the way of telling my honest opinion about anything,
Yeah,
whether it might hurt a feeling or something like that. I can't really control that. And I'm not talking about saying stupid stuff or anything like that.
I
I
know.
just mean just being literally honest about it. And that's it at the end of the day. So there's that. And like, you want your delivery that you have in like everyday life in a certain way. Like, so I want to talk how I talk, I mean, this is how I talk to anybody, the way
This
I'm
is how I
talking.
talk to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that, there's that. And because at the beginning, I wasn't talking like me. Learning, I wasn't talking like me. I was talking like a robot. So like, I had to learn how to talk like myself to the
Yep.
camera. So like, it's crazy. It's just all crazy. But the video editing, I gotta say, is definitely the most difficult, for sure. That's definitely a hurdle if you've never done it. Um,
Yeah.
it is it's not easy. I'll put it that way. That's why as soon as somebody can afford it, a YouTuber, they have a paid editor for the very reason. It's
Oh
time
yeah, I've heard
consuming.
that.
It's time consuming.
Yeah.
Um, and it's not easy. Like, if you want to do like extra stuff, it just takes extra time. You want to do like a little effect that might be like 1 second long, like you might be spending like 15 minutes on it. You know what I mean? Like, for a little, I don't know, twirly little effect that happens in it where it's like an
Yeah. A
homage.
little
Just,
FX.
yeah. And like, you could be spending like, 15, 20 minutes on something that lasts like a second. So
You know, I was told to get an editor. Were you told to get one?
yeah, I was told right away to get an
Uh,
editor, but I haven't.
I think it's important to learn
Yes.
everything because that's what I did in the restaurant biz. I learned every position.
Yep. Exactly.
In mortgage, I learned every position. And when you do, you're equipped for anything.
Yeah.
If anything goes wrong, you can step in because you've done it.
Right. Right.
And I feel like this is no different. It's like, yeah, I could hire one, right? We could.
Mhm.
Um, obviously, it costs money, and they need to learn your style and this, and that. But once you learn how to do it,
Yeah.
it makes a huge difference.
It makes a massive difference. I think like some of these skills, and then like I will add in because of what I don't just do videos. I mean, I do like photography and posts that I make. Like, I do actual photography with some of the posts that I do, a lot of the posts that I do, uh, including picture editing and everything. So I was learning that too because I do a lot of posts, I do a lot of stuff like that, a lot of written stuff. I don't just do videos. A lot of people might, yeah, if you're watching this channel, go check out like my Facebook and stuff like that. Like, I'm doing other stuff all the time. So I'm learning that
Yeah.
stuff too. And
Right.
it's a lot for sure. I mean, it's a lot to dive into, especially if you've never done it. And I get why people are scared to start it or try to do it, because I was a little nervous as well, like starting. I'm like, where, what do I do? you know? Um,
Yeah.
so it's humble beginnings for sure. And I come from like a DIY punk rock background. Um, like, I've always done everything myself because I played music for years, in hardcore bands and stuff like that, metal bands, and it was all very DIY. Like, that was kind of our attitude and mentality around everything that we did. And I've kept that positive. I think that's a very positive mentality to have, to be able to learn every skill that you can
Yeah.
yourself so that you're able to do it should you need to step in for that, someday for something.
Because you will.
Yeah, you will. And like, just for yourself even. Like, I think this is how I personally feel. I think it is better to edit yourself as long as you possibly can, because you're consistently learning new things. Is that not true? You learn new things with editing all the time. I know I do.
All the time. Yeah, all the time, and it's actually kind of fun. I know a lot of people don't like the editing stage, but you have to get that mentality, I think, out of your head.
Yeah.
It's stinking thinking, right? Like,
yeah.
If you go into work thinking I'm gonna have a bad day, you're gonna have a bad day. And if you go into editing thinking one thing, that's probably what you're gonna end up thinking. Like, yeah, this isn't fun. But if you can find some enjoyment out of it, it's like when you enjoy, doing a job that's not fun, but you find things to like about it. And then eventually, you know what? You end up liking the job. It's the same thing here.
Yeah, and Nintendo Prime said I need to improve my thumbnail game. Look, I think his thumbnails are freaking great. I think they're great, and that's another thing. So, like, learning
I think they are too.
Learning that stuff, learning the art of a thumbnail, right? Like, that's a whole thing too. That is a whole thing in itself.
That's why I said I'm so glad Michaela does them for me.
You are so lucky, because I'm telling you, I consistently am learning the art of the thumbnail game. Like, I do, like I said, I do like freelance work and stuff with graphics and things like that for people, and it's, I'm always doing it, so like I'm consistently learning new things. But like, I still, there's tons that I can improve on for sure. Like, I'm never perfect at anything that I do, and that's good mentality to keep. I think that it's good to learn all the tools that you need in content creation or in life, honestly. Anything that you can learn. I love to learn now. I hated to learn in high school. When I was in school, I hated to learn. Now I love to learn. It's a complete different thing. Life skills and like real life things. And I like to learn other like oddball stuff, history and things like that too now. But I just love to learn and take in what I can from other good people around me. Surround yourself with good people. If you're a YouTuber, surround yourself with other good YouTubers. And that's why I feel like I've gotten so close with you so quick, is because when you find a genuine person, they're genuine.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel.
No, I'm with you on that. That's how I feel about you. That's how I felt about Nate as well. Like I knew he was good people.
Yeah.
I'd watched the show. I knew Andres was good people, and Eric. And that's the thing. Like, it's in person, right? It's important to me who I associate with. Like, I'm not going to associate with people that we're not. I wouldn't say we're not on the same page, but I'm not going to just hang out with anyone. Like, if you are a super negative person, we're probably not going to spend a lot of time together.
Yeah, that's not good. Not healthy.
Because it's going to be draining for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And
you know what I mean?
Just a comment there. You can ask Steve. I was trying to find my other headphones before the show. I was using them today.
He was, yeah.
I did not want to wear these. I was specifically saying that. So PS5 Pro day one. I see it in your future. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's so funny.
But yeah, is there anything else that you wanted to mention about, anything that going on with you or?
As far as my content, I just posted my review today for Haunted Castle Revisited, which again that was the bonus title in the Castlevania Dominus Collection. And of course, the Dominus Collection is the Castlevania trilogy of DS games that just came out, I think, 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The physical went up for pre-order today if you're interested in getting a physical. But I reviewed Haunted Castle Revisited because it was a compelling title to me.
Yeah.
The developer M2 I would say it remastered the game, but if you've played Haunted
It
Castle, the
looks,
arcade game, it's not a good game.
yeah, it's not.
And so that's why you guys got to watch this review, because maybe
It's
it's worth playing now.
yeah, it's more like a remake, isn't it? Because it to me
I kind of go through it in my review.
Okay,
Like
cool,
I
cool.
do some I pull some capture from the arcade, because I played through the arcade game and beat it, and I played through Revisit It and beat it, and so I pulled some footage to where I show you a scene in the original and I show you a scene in the new game, and I think that will kind of help to put it all together and kind of let everyone decide for themselves, I guess you could say, if it's a remake or a remaster. What I will say is that it's worth revisiting for sure. So yeah, check out the review. And outside of that, I am figuring out, well, you know what? I will say one more thing. I did just post my review on Wednesday as well for Iron Meat.
Yes, good video.
Yeah, thank you. If you're a fan of Contra or Metal Slug, you will want to check out my review for Iron Meat. The game comes out September 25th. It's by developer RetroWare. They've came out with a lot of cool stuff. A lot of gamers that work there. Brandon, you know.
Yeah.
And you know the guy, was it Jason or Justin? Jason?
Justin Silverman.
Justin Silverman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and cool company. And I was really happy to be able to review this game early. So that review is up. And now I'm trying to actually figure out what I'm going to review next.
Well, I still haven't got to talk to you.
Now.
We're going to have to talk tomorrow, probably before we go live, because there was still stuff I wanted to talk to you about. Some opportunities with that too. So, yeah, maybe I can help you out a little bit with that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so
and then of course, yeah, we have IndieMania, both of us in the morning.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so if you're watching live or shortly after, we got IndieMania, and we're going live again at 12, correct? 12 p.m. EST and 9 PST. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, getting it down. So yeah, super excited. Final day. It's going to be a blast. I've had a lot of fun, man, with it. It's just talking to you has been fun, but the show's been fantastic. So
yeah, and tomorrow's RetroWare.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited.
Yeah, I am. Well, they're the finale. I think.
Yeah,
they're a finale probably for a reason. I think they got probably some goods to show off to us.
They probably do, man, and they put out some really good stuff. Like they are, people need to pay attention to them for sure. When I said I streamed Iron Meat, and then when I streamed it, Lucas that we were talking about earlier came in. He loves Contra, and he didn't understand the name, but then he saw it. He's like, "Oh, I get it. Like I want this game now."
Yeah, it's so badass.
It's so good, man. It's so cool. Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. But
I will say, I want to get a game reviewed quickly. Like one I can review soon, because the Plucky Squire we got on the 17th.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's coming out in 4 days. That's going to be when I want to jump into.
I might
day one.
Yeah, I may do something on that one too, because I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm going to jump in day one as well. I'll have to see. I depends on when I start the game and how I feel. That's usually how I am. So, yeah, I'm excited for that. That's cool. Gonna be good stuff.
And another game I'm gonna play that I don't know if it's gonna be good. None of us do, but yeah. I'm willing to. No, not that game.
Oh, okay.
It's a game that comes out the 20th. So I want everyone on the podcast to know that I'm going to be playing a game that you guys probably might want to play, but we won't know if it's going to be good. So I'm going to find out. That's Karate Kid Street Rumble. For real, it looks good.
Does it? I got to look it up then.
It looks like, you know, the Scott Pilgrim beat 'em up.
Yeah.
It looks like that. It could actually be good.
Well, if it is like that, then I believe it.
Or Double Dragon Gaiden.
Yeah, I was gonna
It's
say
that
that.
art style. It looks like that gameplay.
Wow. Okay.
And I love the Karate Kid. I have my whole
I do
life.
too. I do too.
I signed up for YouTube Red.
The-
YouTube Red just
yeah,
to
so-
watch Cobra Kai when it came out.
Yeah.
Long before it came to Netflix.
Yeah. Okay. I have my eyeballs on this because this looks really good. I'm watching the trailer. This way better than it should be.
Exactly.
And
so I'm hoping it's good.
It's a Game Mill game too.
I know.
Game Mill is
They'll burn
notorious.
ya.
I'm notorious for
what?
trashing Game Mill.
So am I. They are the modern day LJN.
They are. Where LJN has like a couple of bangers, but a lot of really bad games.
Yeah. Well, they get the license.
Yeah. And then
they put out crap.
Yeah. Yep. So now I'm a little concerned.
The Mutants. Wrath of the Mutants is Game Mill.
Yeah. Yep, it is. Yeah. I don't know, man. This is a toss up. I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know if I want to spend the money and take the chance. Like,
and it's $40. It's not 30.
It's 40. I mean, that's also like not a great sign. I guess we'll see. It looks good, so maybe it's one of their bangers. Game Mill has put out a couple of good games because I own a few.
They have.
But they put out a lot of garbage too. I'm sorry.
Those are probably my next 3 for sure reviews: is Plucky Squire, Karate Kid, and then Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah, Echoes. Oh god, so excited for Echoes. Yeah, I'm reviewing Echoes as well, and then I'm getting the Switch Lite. So I'm not gonna open it, but I'm gonna show it for part of the review and show it off box and everything.
I will too. Yeah,
it is kind of unfortunate that I'm not going to open it because it's really pretty, but it's like, what am I going to do? Like, I have an OLED Switch. What am I going to do with it? It's just going to lay around. So,
just be disciplined. Don't open it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a nice piece. It's good to have.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think we'll go ahead and close out. This has been an awesome episode 100, and great to have you on, of course, as always.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah, super awesome to hit episode 100. Definitely really happy about that. And I'm excited about IndieMania Day 3. So definitely be sure to watch that tomorrow. We'll both be streaming. And then Mark may be streaming as well. I don't know for sure yet. So he may be joining in with us on that. But of course, we'll be live again next Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll see y'all later. Have a great night. And for our audio listeners, have a great morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is. We'll see y'all later.
Have a good night.